Grab yourself a seat and keep those hands in the vehicle at all times. You're about to be taken on a ride through the untamed wilds of internet role-playing. Observe them in their natural habitat.
So you head out.
You know that would be funny! I didn't know there'd be consequences!
Enjoy the splendor of their spurgery.
Felix, who is the lion faunus.
And feast your eyes upon the questionable creations of internet randoms.
Actually, I've never DM'd before.
This is the Supernova Safari.
Hi, I'm Blake, and 5e is just good for everything, isn't it? Joined by Noah.
5e? You sunk my battleship!
Liam.
Oh fuck, why'd you pick me?
Fuck. Okay, and Ben. I'll come back to you, Liam.
Hey, isn't it kind of fucked up how like one guy can just like say on Twitter that a feat doesn't work that way and just annihilate 13 builds in one fell swoop?
Okay, and Liam.
10 seconds didn't give me enough time to come up with an intro.
Good enough. Okay, I want to start this off by saying, fucking Liam, what do you mean, why did I call on you? You're always second. I do it in the same order.
Yeah, this has
I know, I just didn't think of an intro for this week, I'm sorry.
It's 5th edition. You could have said anything. Monk sucks. Ranger sucks.
Could have just said, "Oh no, I rolled a 1."
Yes, hello everyone. By the idea of our one and only dear boy himself, Ben, we decided to speak on various shades of 5th edition and our thoughts on some topics that we're going to talk on. But this podcast episode is going to be all related to our favorite system, 5e.
I'm more of a 4e man myself, but
I'm more of a person who's wondering why there even is a 5th edition.
Now, why would we do a podcast on D&D 5th edition is my question.
You're right, because 5.5 is coming out in 2 years.
Yeah, we should just wait.
Yeah, we should wait. See you guys in 2 years.
Anyone like to illuminate just like why we thought it was prudent for this? Ben, maybe you got this one.
Well, we're in a 5th edition. We're playing a 5th edition game on the side as it happens, and we're having a lot of fun with it. Our boy Liam is DMing it. It's really fun. We're just doing Icespire Peak, the Dragon of Icespire Peak. It's pretty fun so far. Pretty fun. It's all of us and our boy Richard, the former actor of Viridian. And Carrie.
No one watches the One Piece show, come on.
Yeah, no one watches that shit.
Maybe if it was on 5th edition, people would watch it.
Yeah, true. Which I think is a nice segue into our topic of the 5th edition system and its, well, honestly, it's mini incarnations. Not officially.
Which is weird to say. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 5th edition, it has an interesting enough history in that it basically did a revitalization of D&D in the public space. I mean, like, whatever you think of it, actually, 4E was a terribly delivered product. Up to some very dark and kind of morbidly funny stories why, but we're here to talk about 5th edition. And somehow they managed to just really strike lightning when they started showing off D&D Next, as it was originally called. Because they were actually probably just afraid to try and go for a new edition after 4E. And they wanted to kind of catch interest. But in the end, they went with 5th edition. Scrapped a bunch of woes in Next, which I found very funny. Because there's a lot of interesting stuff in Next. A lot of weird choices, too. Originally, in 5th edition, one of the base races, fun fact, was going to be Kender. I don't know why. Very glad they're gone. All right, so Kender.
I would like, if I'm not incorrect, I do believe Kender is just a setting specific halfling.
They are Dragonlance version of halfling / gnomes. that are funny because as a culture, Kender don't understand the concept of personal property. And so this race is literally one of the most atrocious things ever. And for some reason, they tried to put it in the base. I don't know.
See,
Man, I fucking bet Nathan loved them.
Does that mean that
Come on,
Dragonlance was originally
100 true.
the base setting?
Indications look like it might have been, yeah.
That's fucked up.
But that was gone a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, we've bitched about 5th edition a lot in relation to the Grim campaign. And like Ben was saying, we're going to kind of open the floor on the first topic, which is, 5th edition has caught a lot of meta-like terms attached to it. Things people will just say and believe offhandedly that I feel like deserve more attention than a lot give. And the first one, the most obvious one, because we've talked about it before a bit, is people just say 5th edition is like a plug-and-play system. Like you can literally play anything in 5th edition, any setting, and just reflavor it. And I don't know.
They'd be right.
They'd be right.
They would not be right.
As shown by the beautiful Grim campaign, seasons 1 and 2.
Right? Exactly.
5th edition is such a such a simple, yet it's not amorphous. It cannot fold in on itself, as it were. It's like this thing is so made for what it's meant to do. I would love, please comment down below with your favorite I don't know, sci-fi setting, please. And not Spelljammer, doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Non-Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons.
Spelljammer isn't even science fiction that much. You're just
right,
in
Rick
space.
and Morty.
Rick and Morty. They do have
gotcha.
You would bring up the Rick and Morty's Essentials kit, wouldn't you?
See, here's why I think that's exactly why, Liam. This is like an actual legitimate topic to like discuss, is because like WotC has just Wizards of the Coast, of course. I just call him WotC shorthand. Of course, basically, I mean, they definitely don't discourage this at all with how they market 5th edition with these like weird tie-in like essentials. Like, in case you all have forgotten already, because it was attempted to be memory hold, there was like a League of Legends Bilgewater book.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Because they trashed them, because the archetypes were overpowered and the setting wasn't good. Like, there are a lot of projects like this and products that were kind of talked about and then memory hold for 5th edition, because they did like this idea of like people just going, fuck it, do anything in 5th edition, because that's a great way to beat competitors.
Damn, I wonder if they do that with another property they own.
5th edition, I'm going to say, before I kind of pass this along, I would say the first big step towards why this became a meme, and I'd like all of your, I'm sure you all just agree because it's a very simple proposal, is because at its core, 5th edition is a very simple system in a way. And I think that's why this meme started being prevalent, because when people like to reflavor things for like an idea of their anime game that doesn't run for more than 3 sessions, they don't really give a shit about like too detailed things. They're just like, let's see what we can do with it. Do I want to learn a new setting or a new book? No, I know 5th edition. It's very simple. And more importantly than that, it's very easy to convince your friends to just play it because they don't have to learn a new system. Because if I know anything, it's, as a person who wants to get a game together, a lot of people don't like learning new shit. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it's just because it's simple? Or is that too broad of a statement?
I think that's a very large contributing factor. Because it's like, what we do of like long running games, like people certainly do that, but one, they do it for less time per session than we do, probably by far. But also, it's like, it's just so much easy. There's so much more support. You can just be like, hey, oh, do you not even know the system? There's a billion ways for someone to just pick up and play 5e. So much. It's such a hand-holding system, and there's so many resources out there that it's the easiest thing in the world. If you're going to convince someone to play like Tabletop, it's like the easiest way to do it, because there's so many ways to go about doing it.
And I would like to say, I list that as a strength of the system. I really do enjoy how easy to pick up the system is.
It's good.
I do think that this comes at a deep cost.
Oh, I call it the ultimate double-edged sword of the system, but we'll get into that more after
It
we
kind
talk
of
about the
is, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wouldn't want to get too deep into my thoughts yet, since I think there's a
Yeah.
considerable amount to chew on with the way people stretch this out. But you're 100% right.
It's
it is good objectively.
I would say a really big reason why this system doesn't really work for, like, let's say for example, your stupid fucking anime game that you're making, your stupid idiot anime game, your dumb fuck anime game. All right, well,
New Empire.
Why are you trying to copy like a class system? Like, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Having a class system that isn't like, now you can have it like, the problem is if it was like a class system that was open and customizable, but this is 5th edition. A lot of the classes will play the same no matter what.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
And a majority of the classes don't actually work congruently in other settings. Like this, it's such a weird system to me, specifically because it tries to emulate older editions rather than innovating like 4th edition tried with like how they design classes. So it went back to that older style, and like the method of spellcasters and things like that are very weird, trying to turn them into other settings. And a lot of people will say something like, in a sci-fi system, just say your wizard is like an engineer that has like tools and stuff to do these things. And like, that's not like enough to change what this class does to me realistically. Because now we have something like the Artificer or something, but the guy who wants to play in the Star Wars game, wants to play as a wizard, still is there. And you're either doing this, you're either cutting like a majority of the classes out of the game to make them work, or you're just really suspending your disbelief and making it difficult to like make this shit congruent with the setting they're applied to. Like the Magic anime game, the way a spellcaster works at 5e, feel like they're going to be an odd fit, personally.
Yeah, because, I mean, 5th edition is so... I mean, how do I even put this? It's so not flashy a lot of the times. Like, your wizard's casting,
Paper Mario
like...
of tabletop games.
Yeah, like...
the numbers are very small throughout the entire run of 5th.
Okay, I cast Magic Missile. Okay, that's all I do. Alright, you're in a fun anime game. That sounds like a lot of fun, right? Your character just stands there and casts Magic Missile. Oh, no, sorry, I can move back 30 feet now. I moved back 30 feet. Alright.
That's the core conceit. Everyone
no, hold on.
Okay.
People will be like, oh, well, just flavor it like you're Neo doing like a backwards jump and firing a pistol, right?
But you can't do that all the time.
I don't know. Please comment down below if you can run that in your head, okay? Because to me, that I literally like, ooh, my body tenses up. I'm like, ooh, no. I don't like that.
After a while, it's impossible to believe. And
as the spell levels go up, it gets worse because spells get more flashy and more unbelievable that it's a tool. If you're doing that, like,
yeah,
it's just the flavor just gets fucked. Like, yeah, dude, I cast Dream of the Blue Veil. Yeah, I made a wormhole generator. We go to a different universe. Get fucked.
And like when you try and flavor it in different ways, like we're going back to this supposed like sci-fi game or something, or higher tech game, modern tech game, cyberpunk game. Trying to flavor it as these things. When you try and flavor it as like a tool or something like that, or an ability, it opens up a can of worms because you can't break the boundaries of what the actual mechanics of the spell is with your flavor. But if you do something irresponsible, like flavor it as a tool or something, like you're a technician, then like characters in the game, or like in the reality, or you will be like, well, can I like alter it because it's like technology? Can I like do this fireball differently because like it's not a fireball, it's a grenade? And then the GM just gives you a look across the table, and you both have to realize you're not allowed to like ask these questions anymore because they're already doing this tightrope walking act.
Yeah, it just kind of fucks things up. It like because it's like where do you draw the line if you're just doing like funny roleplay interpretations of like you're trying to make these spells work in your vastly different setting. It's like you have to draw a line somewhere, and it's never really gonna be satisfying no matter where you do it. It's either gonna be too fucking crazy and just like why are you even doing the system at that point, or it's just gonna be kind of like, I mean, sure, but it's probably gonna make you cringe, like Ben just said after a while.
Yeah, the ultimate response a lot of people might say. I'm sorry, Liam. You can go on in a second.
Sure.
But the ultimate response I see people having to this is like, just figure out something in the moment to make it work. Like, let the GM like work it out or come up with a thing, make a call for the ruling in the moment to make it work. And doing that puts an innumerable amount of like issues on the GM's plate, and a lot of the time they'll want to just hand wave it or agree, and you stray further and further from the point of using 5e. Like, I think people who say they use 5e as a base for these systems eventually just concede and slowly slip more issues into just role-playing, like, discussion-based, like, resolutions of them, which really hurts trying to actually use the system. Which is like a whole other can of worms when you say, like, well, just don't handle everything by mechanics. And there's truths to both points on this side. You don't want to be at either of the extremes. But every time you avoid using mechanics, you're depowering the ability players actually have through their own mechanics to a degree, and like devaluing them. Like, if the guy who's the engineer or like the party face aren't using their skill checks for a while because they're either coming up with a cool idea and just saying like, let me explain it logically as the engineer, or if they're the bard going like, let me word this way to trick them into something, the GM's not actually having them use their stats for a long time. Those stats become less and less valuable over time because you're just straying from the system. It's the same way with handling things with weird flavor, or handling things that the system doesn't support. Until you actually build further systems, and at that point you're homebrewing your own system to a degree, just like modified 5th edition, you're really hurting actually using the rule set of a system, is what I find. But hey, maybe that's too boring of like a description. I don't know. I just find it very unsatisfying.
No, I think you're right. It's just, I mean, I think a really big thing is like, now I know this might be hard for some people, but play a different game. Play 5th edition just isn't the Swiss Army knife people want it to be. There are mechanics in a game for a reason. If you want a freeform RP, that's fine. But you know, I don't know why. I couldn't agree more that like, yeah, I mean, at first, like, sure, it might be fine. Like, yeah, sure, maybe a fighter's fine for like, I don't know, a sci-fi setting, right? You can just free flavor a hand crossbow as a gun or whatever, a blaster. But eventually, you're gonna hit a point where things just don't work out anymore. Spellcasters are obviously the worst offenders of this, and since most classes get an option to spellcast at least in some form, I think 5th edition really hits it's kind of a landmine here where, like, yeah, you could have a fighter who might never not fit the thing, but if he picks like Eldritch Knight, like, I don't know, like, what do? You can only reflavor it as so many things.
Yeah, I guess that's like the big problem with 5th edition, right? Is that like it's a high magic fantasy setting where they've, like, with spellcasters and all the classes, they've basically added so much shit that if you try to adapt this to anything specific, you just have to cut shit out of what's written in 5th edition.
Yeah.
Which, just depending on what you're cutting out, you're breaking classes entirely. And like, you could just have, 4 fighters, and I'm sure that'd work. But then, like, your encounter design and just general campaign is just kind of gonna suck, right?
Oh
Because everyone's a fighter, and there's utility class or anyone, you just lose what makes 5th edition actually good by removing all that stuff. Like
100%.
Like, if you wanted to do Star Wars in 5th edition, guess you can make everyone like aliens, like druids talk to fucking space alien animals.
Yeah, maybe like
Some
Tusken
shit.
Raiders are like talking to weird animals, and they're
But like,
druids? Question mark.
but like, you can't. You just can't do it all. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like no, completely right. And I mean, we obviously love our anime game stuff. So one thing Liam hit on there that's really I find really important is it really does fuck with encounter design, which is really important because other settings have much different encounters than what Forgotten Realms or general like built systems for the Dungeons and Dragons games have, where they are worlds with dungeons and long days of fighting and fucking killing monsters and going through tombs or cool adventures and hunting stuff. There's a lot of that's considered in there, and a lot of that is an admittance of caring about logistics to a degree. Where if you try and use, this is something that definitely came up in New Dawn Pirates over time. Blake figured out early on, is it's really weird to balance a D&D based game in an anime setting, where a lot of the time in like a setting like that, there's not like a long dive through multiple encounters of like varying difficulties. A lot of the time it'll be like build-ups to like one-on-one fights or something. Like depending on the setting, certain classes and things, not only won't they make sense, but their encounter balance will be all over the fucking place. Because if you're in a game setting where every day you're only doing one thing, and spellcasters are allowed, they're the kings, because they don't have to worry about managing shit over a long period of time. And classes that are good because they don't have entirely limited resources, and when they're good, like a fighter or a rogue or something, where they're like, it's not like they got a limited number of sneak attacks per day, they are suddenly going to feel like they're not getting the long end of the stick anymore, because the wizards are just like, well, there's going to be one encounter today because we only do one thing on this espionage mission, or dude, we all get one fight in the day of this, like, cool end of the arc fight. Like, I'm gonna blow all my spells, Lamau. And the fighter's like, oh, action surge!
Yeah, and it's like, some people, I just want to give, like, a brief summation to everyone listening of, like, at least my experience with 5e, because I think it will help add context to discussion going forward. Personally, I don't have a lot of experience with 5th edition. I played Next, and I played like some 5e here or there, but like it is not a system I've played extensively. Not nearly as much as I think any of my 3 co-hosts.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, am I wrong in saying that spellcasters are already considered to probably just be straight better than most other classes? Than like non-spellcasting classes?
Okay. What are we talking about? Like damage wise?
No, like as a role in the party, I think is more like what we have.
Well,
to
yes. Well, I would like to save high level play for later because that's a whole nother can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, yes. If you're, let's be real. If you have a subclass that can cast spells, it's usually better than the other subclasses.
Unless they have like equivalent systems.
Oh, unless they basically have spells anyway. Battle Master.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hold on. I got the. We're talking about Fighter for a while later because I got some big thoughts about Fighter.
Okay.
Because it weirdly is my favorite class in 5e. But
Fighter is very cool.
Here's the way I'd phrase it, Blake, and I think this is generally fair. It's not as big as a disparity as in some older versions of D&D and subsequent branching off systems like Pathfinder. But generally, the way D&D parties work is, everyone kind of has a role to what they can contribute the most. And martial archetypes that can handle fighting in closer quarters or are more durable and have longer sort of like running abilities that are useful over all day. Like, paladins are in the middle ground, but they still can kind of do the same thing as like a fightery guy do. A fighter is going to always be pretty good in combat. Rogue's always going to kind of have something to do. They're classes that kind of always have something to do. And spellcasters in 5e got cantrips to make them still pretty useful. but they still feel like a utility role in the party where you're kind of like, you're doing your job as like a fighter or something to do damage and shit. You can do a lot. You can be very useful. But optimally, you're playing in a way where you're providing the best support to make sure the rest of your party who have like specialized utility are shining the most they can. Like as a wizard caster or something like that, you're thinking each day, how can I get the most out of my spells and use them in the most encounter swinging ways, whether it's like through a non-combat encounter or a direct combat encounter. So they shine in bursts where they cast a spell or they have some clever application of some ability they use, or not clever and it's just overpowered. They blow through an encounter. And in the meantime, when you're picking those moments, the rest of the party is doing their best to cut through them themselves and to make sure they are kept in a optimal situation for them. That's how I always view it. So I think their role in the party is to be the guys who can slap down something that'll wipe an encounter once in a while and always kind of have these tricks in their bag while the rest of the party is finding optimal situations for them and handling shit in the meantime. Mm-hmm. That's how I always view it. And so to answer, I'd say spellcasters will always have an inherent superiority because they always have the ability to completely fuck encounters over if they're played efficiently and have the correct spells or like they're bringing the right tools to the encounter. While other classes that don't rely so much on spellcasting and stuff just bring tools that are always pretty good to an encounter. They're never bad, necessarily, except in very fringe cases. But spellcasters sometimes can just fuck shit.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. Where it's like, in our game we're doing now, I kind of am feeling that. Where it's like, I feel I'm playing a sorcerer in the 5e game we're currently playing, and I feel like I have a lot of potential to like really fuck shit up. I think it's getting more and more. Obviously, as I'm leveling up, I'm feeling that more and more with my greater roster spells. But like, I like the feeling of like, okay, if I use the right spell at a good time, I can like really like change the outcome of the fight. Like where you with your fighter, Noah, is like in the face of an enemy, and I like fairy fire 3 enemies and just give you like a huge advantage.
Yeah, of course. It's like spellcasters are gods. They win encounters for their teams.
Yeah. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Which is why when you try and play in a setting that doesn't immediately have them, it just becomes an even bigger, to borrow like a term from an old Yahtzee review, boot kicking contest, where you have these two dickheads on both sides of the battle who are all just martial classes, who are all just auto-attacking each other. And you're like, damn, 5th edition fucks! Like, I don't know how people play like that. Like, I look at some shows on YouTube where people try and adapt these to other settings. Let's say one that's always on my mind because competitor slightly is Mr. Rustage's One Piece game, and like they're mostly just. Last time I checked, they're mostly just all martial variants. Like they're a barbarian, a fighter, a rogue, and I believe an arcane archer specifically. Which, sorry, dude, I think you got bonuses. And I've looked over like their progression, and it looks like they rely on getting like a lot of different items and special abilities off other things, which I think is a good way to compensate for that. And if you don't do something like that in a game where you're trying to limit it to a different setting, you will just have an awful time because everything will be very binary, I'd find. If you're limiting it so much to be like, well, I can't justify spellcasters outside of very specific circumstances. I would say you need to have a very good thing to fill in for that in the meantime.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if your setting doesn't have like spellcasters, it probably doesn't make sense for it to have magic items either. I mean, yeah, if it's sci-fi, you can flavor a lot of them, but
yeah,
then you're just kind of stretching what it actually is, right?
You really have to put in a lot of work. This is the part where I say, while we've given it a lot of shit, I'd still say you can still do it, obviously. But my biggest thing is you are asking a fuckload of the guy who's running the game. if the GM is really committed to really trying to break his back over to make this work, of course it can work. But it's never going to be like just as easy as people make it sound, unless you're accepting like subpar content, you know, like not actually that impressive of a conversion.
And honestly, thinking about it, it's just like it honestly complicates 5th edition so much more than like it really should. Like that's the selling point of 5th edition, isn't it? That it's super easy to pick up. If I have to fucking go through my class every time I level up and be like, hey, DM, does this fucking charm person ability I get level 4 in my subclass, can I do that? No?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. This I think this might be, unless we all have something else more to say on this topic, might be a good part to transition to the 5e is good because it's simple and bad because it's simple discussion. Because I have a really good point I want to make here.
I do have one more note.
Please go ahead.
Is that so? Because like you'd have to remove so much to fit certain settings, that would lead some people to just make their own class, like, you know, the huntsman class in the RWBY game, which is just a horrible idea because no one knows how to homebrew anything in 5th edition. And class design in 5th edition, for the most part, is actually really fucking solid and from like a game design standpoint. And
mostly
Joe fucking Schmo, Joe fucking Schmo can't design, doesn't even understand how 5th edition classes are designed, let alone how to make one himself. You know?
Yeah, it's like you can read the classes and like play the game and have everything like feel really good and go really well, but that's probably because they spent a really long time making sure when you're playing within the rule set of 5e that they designed, with all of the bells and whistles they put on it, it works all together pretty well. You throw in some crazy shit you just came up with, literally it's like a house of cards that comes crumbling down the second you introduce your own homebrew elements that might just fuck it up. That's not saying you can't homebrew stuff, that's just saying like it can really fuck up the entire balancing of the system really easily because, like Liam said, probably doesn't take into consideration the things they normally do. And that's not saying Wizards of the Coast is perfect, because they're not.
I'm going to come in here slightly different, I think, than what you guys are saying. I'm going with the other take. I think it's incredibly easy to homebrew for 5th edition. I think the problem is 5th edition is very incongruent with itself in that it has like very poor moments of balanced design, i.e. the monk class or any subsidiary of this idea that tries to vary how simple martial combat works. I think 5th edition did Barbarian pretty well, did Paladin great, and it did Rogue pretty well, and Ranger and Monk got fucked. And Fighters always...
Well, remember, as they admitted, Ranger only had like one iteration. They just had to get the book out on time.
And when they iterated again, Ranger comes out looking a bit better.
Tasha's kind of fixes everything. It's still kind of a mess.
Yeah, 100%.
Once again, they love their concentration. I'll just say that.
But the thing is, you don't need to overcomplicate homebrew for 5e, because 5e is already such a simple fucking system. The thing is, I wouldn't say it's hard to homebrew for 5th edition. What I would say is it's hard to homebrew for 5th edition without just making it your stated claim that you're saying, I'm going to ignore all the terrible options in 5th edition and balance at the baseline of the good classes. Because there are big disparities in 5th edition, and I'm just going to be honest. 5th edition's good because every class generally has a good thing to take. And then there's a lot of character class, like archetypes and things, choices in spells, fighting styles even, that are just objectively terrible. And you just basically look at them and go, well, I would never take this. there's a concept people talk about, which is you don't need to optimize to enjoy yourself in tabletop games. Where people be like, I like playing in optimal characters.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I understand this opinion to a degree, where there's a level of inoptimization that I completely understand. But when the problem is in 5th edition, rather than having that, which is at least like, it's so simple of an addition. When you're making these decisions not to optimize, it's not so much that you're not building a character that fucks every day of the week and is always ready to go. It's that you're looking at the option that in your head you can see this will give me eventually +5 to damage, and this one will give me +2 to damage. I'm gonna pick the +2 one. Like, a lot of the unoptimization design comes down to, or like choices, are so binary. There's no justification to take them because they're not like cool or specifically useful. Like, no one should pick Great Weapon Master fighting style because it's just number bad. Like, it's not like, oh, it does a weird thing that's not useful most of the time, but if I make a build around it, I can force it to be useful, even though it's silly. It's just shitty.
Yeah.
And that's why homebrewing is, like, easy if you would just ignore that there's bad options and focus your homebrewing around trying to buff old shitty options or just make them at the power level of, like, the Battle Masters and the Arcane Tricksters and shit, where, like, the optimized good subclasses, and you just bounce it from there, instead of being like, well, dude, this outpaces my Berserker!
Yeah, well, the PHB's rough, alright? The PHB subclasses, besides, like, I mean, the ones that can cast
You're right,
spells.
Sunsoul and Purple Banneret are great.
No, the Skag's even worse. Let's not get
The Skag is so bad.
The Skag only had, what, one good? I think it was just Blade Singer?
Yeah. You don't like Battle Ranger, dude? What the fuck?
Yeah, what a great idea. How can you tell it wasn't made by the main team? Can you tell?
Can you tell that while cool, the melee cantrips were probably a bad idea?
Yeah, I'll say this. I think cantrips scaling off of just your level, they should have scaled off your, like, if you were
Class
that level of that caster that you took
Oh
the
my
cantrip
god.
from.
Okay, yeah. This section
Because remember,
Listen.
you can just dip for our Eldritch Blast and get 4
Listen.
attacks.
I said this section was going to be about how simple can be good and bad, and we should discuss it. But I'm taking a sidebar to just point out how, when I say I hate 5th edition, it's because there's such simple problems they didn't ever realize like this. Cantrip scaling with a general level is such a nightmare, because like Ben said, just take Warlock Eldritch Blast. There is almost no reason not to take a level of Warlock on Sorcerer. There is almost no reason not to take Warlock Paladin combos. There's almost no reason not to do so many of these simple things, because there's weird, archaic design choices that make not archaic even, I'd just say random choices that completely unbalance something and just dangle this carrot above you that go, like, literally, why wouldn't you take this? That's my problem with these small numbers things. Is it's just there's not enough variance in cool things. And I'm so happy that Matt Mercer designed a class that is just cool. Because I want to talk about my own class I'm playing real quick in the game, which is Echo Knight, one of Matt Mercer's he made for the, do you remember what the book's called?
Explorer's Guide to Wildmount.
Yeah, Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. Echo Knight's a weird fighter subclass, because numerically it doesn't give you that much besides a couple extra attacks per day. But mechanically, it opens up a whole new field for you to operate, because it allows you to have, like, a puppet echo thing that's, like, within normal class flavors, like a distortion of time, because you're, like, a time fighter. And it's like a copy of you that can do certain things. Like, you know, you're basically there in place of it. Like, you can see through shit. You can make attacks where it is. You can use it as an opportunity attack, say. It has its own defense and will tank a hit from people. It's really interesting. And it made itself a useful subclass and a very cool choice to take, because it's not just comparing numbers or going like, well, it doesn't just give you damage or a way to deal damage. It gave you a new way to play the class, and it's a very good way, so it can stand on its own legs. Unlike, say,
Purple Dragon Knight.
I was trying to think of one that wasn't Purple Dragon. I guess
Purple Dragon Knight is a new way to play. It's just
it's not supported.
Very fun.
I would say or Rune Knight or Psy Warrior, who both fell into the trap of trying to kind of be like Battle Master.
No, Rune Knight I think makes it out okay. I think the higher level runes make up for it. But it will feel like a fighter for like 8 levels though.
And it's also very weird because they both tried to kind of be same with Arcane Archer, but it just fell behind really hard. I think Rune Knight and Psy Warrior are both...
No, Arcane Archer is another casualty of what if we give him too many resources?
Yeah.
Remember, you can only use your fucking magic arrows. What is it? Oh yeah, twice.
And it's such an easy way to fix it. Just either give them a scaling chart in the class, make it scale off ints, double the amount they have, do anything. There are so many quick fixes you can choose from of those that's very frustrating. But my main point was, unless the subclass is incredibly well designed in how it actually operates for just increasing damage, like Samurai, for instance. Samurai is very well designed for Fighter. I use Fighter because it's a very binary class to understand this problem. Samurai is very well designed. It has a resource per day. It eventually gets a way where you're always having the resource so they could run the numbers and know how often Samurai function like this. It's a binary. It's basically what Champion should have been, is Samurai. It's the simple man's battle master.
It also gives you a small, like, hey, maybe you should put a little more into Charisma this time.
Yeah, I think it's Wisdom, actually, because it
is it Wisdom? I thought it was Charisma.
Well, they work for Charisma, but they get the skill where they add Wisdom to their Charisma checks also, so it's like either or, you know?
Yeah.
And it functions in a simple way compared to Battle Master, which gives you a lot of options, and it's on parity damage-wise with them. You can look at Samurai and a Battle Master, and they'll both be able to dish out a lot of fucking useful damage, just in different ways. Cavalier and Echo Knight, and Eldritch Knight. Well, Eldritch Knight's weird because it does good damage and has utility. Echo Knight and Cavalier both bring new ways to play the fighter to the game that are very useful. Now, we look at the other classes, and I look at Psy Warrior and Rune Knight, and I go, okay, I can kind of justify playing these because of flavor. Kind of. And then I look at Champion and Purple Banner Knight, or Dragon Knight Banneret, and Arcane Archer. They just all suck. Like, it's so hard to justify. Arcane Archer, you go, well, I want to play as the arrow. Well, guess what, motherfucker? Battle Master, most of their shit just works with a bow and arrow, and it's more useful than, like, an Arcane Archer's. The one where it's like, oh, I make it so they are frightened of me with an archer arrow, or the one where, oh, no, it's the taunt one. It's the one where it's like, disadvantage against other people besides me. You can shoot them with an arrow from 120 feet away, do that, they'll never be able to get to you, they're fucked. Like, these are more useful than Arcane Archer. There are so many designs that fail because the numbers in 5th edition are too small to have these minute progression changes and periods of power and, like, variance and, like, oh, this class, like, maybe gets more justifiable ways to hit often, or works in with a different function, like an opportunity attack thing. But because you only get one reaction per round, like, that'll never happen. Because bound accuracy is this thing, you'll never vary your accuracy too much. Because everything is very simple and streamlined in a good, useful way for balance, it hurts designs that don't figure out a way to make the class interesting or different, thus just slowly making the idea of taking unoptimal choices just feel so ridiculous. Because what, at the end of the day, is doing 2-weapon fighting? It's not a new way to play. It's the same shit, you just do less damage. I get the benefits. It just frustrates me to no end. I know I've been shouting for a while, so please, someone tear my opinion up or jump in.
No, it's just... I mean, class design in 5th edition. I mean, earlier Liam said it's okay. It's generally okay, and I do kind of agree. but I don't agree at the top level because they clearly didn't give a fuck past like level like 12 or 13.
Yeah, well,
But,
I mean, when I'm talking about
but
this
yeah.
fucking game, there's levels 3 to like 8 that everyone plays and no one plays past, and you do 1 to 2 in a session or else your game's cringe. So
Yeah.
so like everything other than that doesn't really matter unless you're playing like a fucking year-long game where you're actually getting that far in levels or just starting at high level. But the bulk of 5th edition games, I'd say, is that sub 10.
I would say what kind of
I
makes
hate
me
that.
angry about 5th edition is that I can forgive the PHB and I can forgive, I can forgive the Skag. But like it's been like 5 years now, and Tosh just came out, and yeah, it fixed it. I would say it actually made the sorcerer on. It's very close to wizard power level now because of bonus spells from the new ones. Now, should they have gone back and added those to the other subclasses? Yes. Why didn't they? Why didn't they do that?
Dude, how do you expect this company to produce things that I could do in a fucking afternoon, Ben? I don't get it. Like,
well, it's because they don't want to fuck up like Adventure League or whatever. And it's like,
no.
shut the fuck up. Just go back and give Draconic Heritage a bonus spell list and make it an optional rule. Guys, optional rules were your way out of everything. Calling it an optional rule is so smart on your part, unironically. Because you can just go, well, I'm sorry, at this table in Adventure League, we don't run with the optional rules. So you throw your ranger in the trash. But, get fucked. Like, print good shit to fix your system. You know what's wrong. Reprint Monk, you cucks. You know it's bad.
This really grinds my gears because the system's so simple, but
they refuse to change.
Yeah, they really don't put out a lot of content to like fix this game, and half the time they do, it fucking sucks, and it's only some Twitter post. You allude to this. Let's do a little funny story. I mean, anyone who isn't aware, a long time ago, Mr. Merles, it was Merles, right? Butchered a Shieldmaster for no reason.
I don't remember if it was Merles. It might have been Crawford.
It might have been Crawford. It was one of the guys on Twitter just decided to randomly inform everyone that rules-wise, the Battlemaster feat, which is a bonus action when you make an attack, when you're declaring an attack action, as a bonus action, you can do a shove action with your shield, which is either the 5-foot step back or the actually useful knock them prone. And previously to this, by wording, this allowed you to do it before you made your attacks, because as you might be aware in 5th edition, when you spend your action to do an attack action, it's not like it's immediately happening. It's that you now have attacks that you're allowed to spend on the turn. That's why you can do things like attack, move, attack if you have extra attack or something, or divert to different targets.
Yeah, and I would like just to jump in here for a second. And thank God you can do that, because if it wasn't like that, Monk would literally be dead in the water. If you had to stand still and attack, Monk would be even more fucked.
I really like this change away from full round attacks like they used to do and shit. I really like it. Because it adds more clever wording you can do to come up with shit. And I thought Shieldmaster was always one of that, but later they just decided that no. It's always post. So you're never getting the benefit of knocking them prone and having advantage to attack them on your turn. It's always afterwards. And it completely ruined the usefulness of this feat that gave sword and board characters like a very fun feat that gave them a lot more parity to be able to keep up with the one of the 2 god feats of 5th edition, which was Great Weapon Master, also known as the only reason you want to play a martial half the time. The other half of the time is if you want to be tanky and actually help your team, because there's not another good martial. Unfortunately, now Shield lads just kind of have to pick a subclass that gives uses their bonus action for something else, or just fucking cry, I guess, because they took away Shield Master. Unless you're playing with anyone reasonable and you go, can I just have it how it's supposed to work? And they go, yeah, of course.
Well, the thing is, I believe him when he says that's what they meant for it to be, because the original PHB feats are so poorly worded. Yeah. I mean, Crossbow Master, just look at it.
Yeah, Crossbow Master is a legendarily shitty
what they meant, but they just didn't say one-handed melee weapon, so now every fighter must take it. If you're not a, and remember, folks, you can't dual wield two-hand crossbows. You have to only have one, but you can fire 3 times.
Yeah, Crossbow Master is just another instance of like he said, it's just like these. If you're playing it optimally, you're just giving up such obvious.
Giving up another attack.
You're giving up such obvious benefits for nothing. I thought the goal of this system was to be simple and enjoyable, not that there's one thing to do each time. I thought simplicity would allow for more freedom of design, because there's not complexities you have to break your back over for every build to work. But I guess instead it meant you don't have to worry about planning your character, smiley face.
No, that's literally what that means. This has always been kind of a problem with the feat system, where there's a ton of feats, but I mean, they're not all made equally. But I would say 5th edition made this even worse somehow. Now,
they were just scared to make too many feats. I don't know why.
It is an optional rule. We have to remember feats are a variant rule, not always allowed. So that's right, folks. When you're sad as fuck, a wizard hits 20 intelligence at level 8. From now on, look forward to your ASI so you can increase your, I guess, con?
Dex or con, I mean, yeah.
Dex or con, I mean, I guess, dude. 1+ AC, fuck, dude. I mean, you could have, gotten, Fey Touch or Shadow Touched, or, the fun shit where, you always remember so your DM has to tell you things. You don't have to actually write anything down. Stuff like that. You can't have fun things, So don't play with feats is what we're basically saying. But I would say that feats, if you play in a game without feats, Monk looks a lot better. Monk looks a lot better.
Fucked up, you're right.
Monk looks a lot better. Man, that's a lot of attacks.
That's a lot of attacks.
That's a lot of attacks.
I mean, the fighter doesn't do any fucking damage. You're
fighter
right.
doesn't do any fucking damage, dude. This guy's a pussy.
Oh my god, this monk, and he's just doing it with his hands, Ben.
Yeah, he's
holy shit.
D4 every time though, baby.
That guy's got a great sword, and it doesn't do half the damage the monk does. What the fuck?
It's just it really does come down to a few problem feats that they should have obviously have already just been like, yeah, guys, crossbow, we didn't mean that with crossbow mastery. We didn't mean that you can literally proc it with another hand crossbow. Or no, I'm sorry, has to be the same hand crossbow. We didn't mean that. We meant so you'd have a rapier in one hand and you could shoot with the other. That's what we meant. You need to take sharpshooter and great weapon mastery are problem feats. They are too good. They are just too good.
And if you don't take them, you're just fucked.
You're gimping your damage. But the problem is there is no other feat to take. There is no. I mean, okay, admittedly, I guess there is Polar Master Sentinel.
But you just take them also.
But the thing is, Great Weapon Mastery works with Polar Mastery!
Yes, I was going to bring it up if you didn't. That's the problem. You just get all of those, Ben. That's the thing.
No, it's just, you can become this, and you, dude, stop at, Polar Mastery, Crossbow Mastery, take the extra attack out of it. I'm sorry, it's too powerful. You gotta take it out. You have to. It's, getting an extra attack is so good. I don't care if it's a fucking D4.
And here's the thing. Well, it comes with riders and other effects, which is why paladins love that shit, because their divine smites and shit work on it.
I cannot believe you can divine smite more than once per round. I cannot believe it.
So, the thing is, like these are objectively good. That's why you'd need to take them away or rebalance every other feat to have something valuable. And then the worst part of this whole equation is the casters are just laughing at you the whole time, because if you're stopping this shit from happening to try and give build diversity, you're just weakening the martial end of things more, which definitely don't need it. It's this terrible design space they're in where they just need to rebalance all the feats or just add a new list of good ones and just say sorry about the old ones, smiley face. But instead we got some badass ones like Slasher. Ugh! Yeah, I love feats related to critting in an edition where there's only one thing in the fucking game that ups your crit range. Woo!
Two things, Champion and Hexblade.
Oh, sorry. You're right. My bad.
Yeah, because remember, Hexblade gets even better because you crit on a 19, smiley face.
Smiley face.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, dude. Like, casters are so far above, they don't even need feats to be fucking good. Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, the wizard alone is such a broken class because they get so many fucking spells. And I've always wondered this.
What have you wondered?
Do you think that wizard gets a little bit over? I still think it is the strongest class by far. Like, I don't think there's a class that's better than wizard. But do you think that people don't read and see that wizards have to prepare their entire spell list beforehand? They're not a sorcerer. They can't just have their list and cast with their spell slots. Wizards are I make my big spell list for the day.
I think there are probably certain groups that just... Well, this falls back to this thing how a lot of people ignore... because 5th edition prides itself on being simple, people will just ignore more... micromanaging parts of things, quote unquote. Yeah, bookkeeping, thank you. Like travel things, like rations and weights for characters and stuff. And for some reason, features like that get turned into it. Like, I think there'll be some groups who are just like, yeah, I don't mind, man. And that overblows the character. I 100% think so.
I feel that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, once again, it goes back to weird hang-ons to an edition. Like, I find it very surprising that there's still a bunch of rules for travel in 5th edition, looking at what the direction they were trying to go with. Fuck, I'm surprised there are weapon types, like, in this edition, because weapon types barely matter. They've removed variants of critical scaling, minute damage scaling, ranges from weapons from having crits. Like, I want to go back to the day when obviously there was still definitively better weapons, but I liked the idea of a system where weapons have some variance over them. And I don't think it should have been abandoned. I think it should have been refined more to try and make that a useful thing. But if they didn't want to refine it, I really don't know why they tried to make it look like there's variance in these weapons. Because 5th edition is definitely the system of there's just certain tools and weapons and things that exist for no fucking reason.
Oh, 100%. I really do think this comes down to... this has been my big thing. I think the PHB being rushed and their refusal to change it has been a detriment from the start. And I know in Xanathar's they tried to like, oh, we're gonna like kind of tell you like what the tools actually do, because remember, you just kind of put the tools in the PHB and never like really told you what they do.
Yeah.
You just kind of had to assume what they did.
That shit was insane.
Cool flex, guys, but kind of cringe you had to have another book. See, and oh my god, I really hate the system of them. They realize there's problems with their game. They release a whole nother book instead of just fucking...
We're in the age of digital media. They can do a lot of information.
Just, I know that they said, oh, we're going to make like either 6th edition or 5.5 in 2 fucking years. Hello?
Yeah.
But guys, please go back and I know that they, after 5 fucking years, finally said, hey, Ranger, here you go, buddy. you know how
this one's for you more.
You know in that Avengers movie when Hulk hands him like the little food, hands him like a little hot dog or whatever. That's literally what they
Taco,
did after
come on.
5 years. They handed him, here you go, buddy. You can have favored foe. Still concentration. Hey, not a bonus action though. You're like,
Hey!
yeah, I guess I'll use this when I'm out of spell slots.
Pretty good, thanks.
You guys want to make any good ranger spells?
No.
Cool.
No, conjure animals.
I mean,
okay.
I would like to say that there are a couple of classes that I find it interesting that their subclass barely matters. I would like to specifically point out the chassis of Rogue and Paladin. I could literally play these classes and not just say my subclass features be gone. I do not need you. And I guarantee you I will most likely outdamage most characters, except for like literally an optimized all feats character. Like a rogue is going to a regular rogue who does not use any of their subclasses, mostly because most of them don't even give you any damage anyway.
There are some incredible Yeah, that's something I noticed. Isn't this is just a complete tangent zone at this point? Isn't it fucked up how there's like no rogue subclasses? They're like damage buff subclasses.
Well, because they realize that they don't need it. Rogue is a good chassis, and they realize, hey, Rogue is a good chassis, so let's just go crazy and make fun things. Like I like Swashbuckler. I like Swashbuckler because
Fox.
I do think it's a bit redundant because I think getting sneak attack is now with Tasha's is even easier with focused aim.
Like you didn't even need it. Like before,
you don't need it. And the other one where you can like use a help action at 30 feet as your bonus action, that's really cool.
But the rest of its features are terrible.
But the rest of it, but then you get like Assassin, who's like, oh wow, what a cool 3rd level feat. What else do they get?
Dude, Assassin is still somehow better than Mastermind. Mastermind's features are insanely specific.
Yeah, Master. Oh yeah, I love remember in Xanathars when they just like made a bunch of subclasses that only work in like a political intrigue campaign? Like I'm fucking playing political intrigue in 5th edition.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure somebody has done it, but have they ever released a module that is about political intrigue? Has that ever happened?
Dragon Heist could kind of be that if you want it to.
Kind of.
You can
There's
argue.
a lot of factions, and it's the idea is that you make allies because everything's like level 15 and you're level 5.
Listen, man, Assassin with a DM who's very nice to you and goes, "Listen, man, I'll let you have it," is pretty cool. But 100% rework Assassin to be more combat rogue shit.
I would like to say that I think Assassin is probably the worst example of the rogue, honestly. I think it probably... But I mean, Mastermind's pretty bad.
No, Inquisitive.
Oh, no, actually, Inquisitive. Inquisitive's worse.
Inquisitive sucks.
Inquisitive is worse. I think Mastermind's better than Assassin. Unless you're multiclassing.
I don't think so.
Assassin not only relies on your DM allowing you to have surprise, which is already some pretty janky rules to begin with. Those rules are not very clear. But
I think,
dude, the ribbon abilities are like, dude, you can use toolkits. Wow, cool! I could already do that.
Dude,
like,
Mastermind's ribbon abilities are
terrible.
Yeah, tell me a guy's int score, Ben. Like their ribbons suck.
Yeah, but see, it's different when that happens on Battle Master, because fuck it, you're a Battle Master. Yeah. On Assassin, it's like, oh fuck, I have a good first round and I'm back to being a rogue, which is fine.
Hey man, at least you get like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're both... Mastermind and Assassin both have terrible ribbons.
No, I could live with one ribbon ability, but they got 2!
I don't know why. Fuck. Blend the fuck... Oh, man, I fucking hate Phantom.
No, like Phantom's good.
What's up, Liam?
I'm looking at the Rogue class. And no shit you were saying that Rogue can do shit without their subclass. They get one thing at level 3 in each subclass. Don't get anything till level 9.
Yeah.
They get one fucking thing. Yeah, you won't fucking notice it if you don't have it. It's one thing.
It's insane. It's really weird.
It's more that the chat.
Paladin doesn't get shit. Is the same. It's like level 3. Wait till level 7 for your aura.
And, at least level 7 isn't level 9.
No. At level 6, you get the aura protection, the regular aura.
No, I meant for archetypes, Ben.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, no, Rogue really does have that. I've never pointed that out myself.
Oh, this actually goes into a point.
You're right.
I feel like your subclass should give you something like every 3 levels on like every class.
I would like to add
otherwise,
this point.
what's the point? Like it should.
Okay.
Your subclass should be specializing
It
your
should change.
gameplay for the class.
Oh,
You're not getting anything from it. Then what the fuck's the point? You're just playing rogue.
That's true, but here's the thing. This is, I think, another downfall of 5th edition. Having to have let's say you're designing a subclass. Okay, that's what I want them to do at 3rd level. Okay, when they take it, they get this ability. Sweet. All right, when do I need to write the next one? Level 9. What? I mean, I guess. What's good at level 9? Okay.
Oh, I never gotten that far.
Gotten that far.
Literally, it's shit like that. And
you think there's people on the fucking D&D design team who haven't played like a 1 to 20 game?
100%. None of them have gotten to level 20. Dude, have you seen the capstones? Let's not get into the capstones. Yes. They're bad. They're bad except for paladins.
They're bad.
They're bad except for paladins, barbarians, and I think it's paladins, barbarians.
Yeah.
And fighter. Fighter is a good one. It's boring, but it's a good one.
Rogue's okay. Treat his ability check as a 20 once for short rest.
Stroke of luck's okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
But sorcerer, monk.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool, guys. Oh, Rangers is the worst. Rangers is the worst capstone of all time.
You think Foe Slayer is the worst?
100%. Read Foe Slayer.
Once on each of your turn. Right. Once. Right. I forgot it's once.
It has to be that thing you pick. It has to be that specific enemy you picked.
I forgot it was only once you had your wisdom tip.
Hey, you know what's really fucked up?
Yeah.
They never updated the capstone if you don't take your favorite enemy.
Yeah. Yeah. You know who has a good capstone? Artificer.
Oh god, yes. That's
Soul of Artifice, +1 saving throw per magic item attuned, and you can have like a fuck ton.
You can have 6 by that time. You can have
if you're
6.
reduced to 0 but not killed, reaction to use to end one of your infusions, and then you get 1 instead of 0 HP. That shit's great.
Yes, dude. Soul of Artifice is such a good capstone. I mean,
I don't know, Ben, though. When I roll initiative and have no Bardic Inspiration, I regain 1. That breaks my class.
Holy shit, I hate Bard. Bard, Sorcerer, and Monk, because of their gay fucking resources. By the way, resources, they are not the best. I think Key is the worst. Sorcery points are pretty good, and Bardic Inspiration somewhere in the middle. Lately, they've been getting kind of cool with what you can do with them. Some of the subclasses play around with it pretty well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they had no idea.
They is probably the worst.
They had no idea, like,
you need
how to balance these at the first start.
Key especially. Key is they were so scared to give Monk Key for some
I will
reason.
say I think Bardic Inspiration's pretty good because, like, Inspiration's probably one of the weirdest ones. Because at level 5, it becomes a short rest one. So that has always been so weird to me. Like, they must have tested level, 1 to 5 with the Bard having a +3 charisma short rest thing and gone, dude, this is too crazy. We just have to stem it at the first few levels. But it's so weird that they just, level 5, they take off the training weights. And suddenly they've got, 4 Bardic Inspiration per short rest, and their D8's down. You're like, whoa, Bard looking kind of sexy after high school. Bard looks great then. It's just it's a weirdly strangled at the start.
It is strange. Again, the capstones are another casualty of the PHP's dog shit.
Yeah.
They designed the classes. Honestly, it's a fucking miracle some of these classes made it out as good as they did.
Are we basically just giving quick summations of classes, it sounds like? Should we do that?
I mean, honestly, fuck it.
Well, let's just do it real quick. We're talking about class design.
Listen, and I will say, if you have no opinion on it or you don't really know about it, you don't have to give anything. If one of you says, I don't really know much about Fighter, it's like, yeah, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I guess, should we just do it in Fighter? No, let's do it alphabetically, right?
Yeah, I got it. So, Artificer. Okay, so Artificer, I want to quickly say,
was added later.
Added later? If all the classes they add later are given the level of attention Artificer is. I wish they'd do more, because I think Artificer came out really cool at the end of the day, and has a very unique class identity. And you know why Artificer's cool? Because it's kind of complicated. And I missed that. I missed that shit.
Yes.
Artificer, you got a lot of options for picking the magic items you make. You got a lot of options in your subclasses. You get some cool spells. Spells and abilities that make you think up ways to use it, like the Invisible Servant making you drink potion meme. Like, shit like that. Like, good fucking class. Artificer fucks.
Artificer's pretty good.
I would like to say, just real quickly, and we're going to go over like each of the classes just really quick. So we're not, well, whatever. I would like to say that Artificer, I think, is proved to me that they can still make a good class. It'll just take them fucking forever. I think the subclasses are kind of scuffed a little, just a little bit. I think Alchemist, I really feel like they wanted to give each, for some fucking reason, they want to give every Artificer subclass a fucking pet.
Horrible.
They didn't end up doing that for all of them, but
in the design docs they had them. Like Alchemist had the homunculus and shit.
Yes,
like,
they had the homunculus.
And people complained. Thank God. Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of wish they would have kept it, because they did
every
not
class
get
can just get
anything. The homunculus is now an infusion.
Exactly.
Which I think it should have kind of been both. You probably should have just made an infusion and they get it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Well,
But the thing with Artificer I find is so good is I think it is this is what Halfcaster should have been. You should have started with spells. Get fucked. I don't care. Rangers and Paladins should start with spells.
Upvoted.
They should start with like one spell slot. And they can do one thing.
Correct.
Like, it's so dumb that Rangers and Paladins have... I know they only wait like a little bit to get their spell slots. But like,
it's weird that
it not only chokes like fun multi-classes, but like, it just is retarded. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
It's a little free to get your god, smiley.
Okay.
Let's not get ahead of myself.
I will not go into the funny way that, why is your character like at now?
Why am I an Eldritch
level
Knight
3?
now?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's start.
Whatever.
So Artificer, thumbs up, everyone, right?
Are we going? Are we doing Artificer first?
Yeah, we're just doing alphabetical. Artificer happens to be there.
Okay.
All right, boys, it's time. Ooga booga, he's coming. It's the Barbarian, also known as one of the best design classes in 5th edition.
Good.
Everyone agree?
Good. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
I said one of.
I would say it's a generally pretty good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Barbarian players are always happy with what they do.
I think they're happy up to level 5, and they realize their class gets nothing else.
Dude, brutal crit.
Yeah, no. I think that they literally. Here's the thing. I really like Barbarian. Because I have to agree with something you said earlier, Noah. I think that 5th edition really gets Barbarian very right. And as a man who's played a lot of like other games, Barbarian is kind of shit on, and it's just a bad fighter generally.
All the time!
But now, I think that Barbarian has its own decent identity. I think the subclasses are... Now, there's some stinkers,
Oh
obviously.
my god, are there?
But I think generally they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But my problem with the Barbarian stems from get to level 5, you get extra attack, and yeah, you're just like a meat shield.
It felt like they ran out of a couple things they should have
100% ran out of ideas.
Okay, so Barbarian, despite, like you said, good archetypes despite having one of the most notoriously shitty archetypes in the game, Berserker. Good archetypes outside of that, I'd say.
There's worse than Berserker, friend.
Yeah, but it's definitely one of the shittiest ever made, because it's so funny how bad
Oh,
it is.
yeah, I cannot believe they didn't fix Berserker.
But outside of that, Barbarian has a great core design of how Rage works, where it makes you resistant to shit, simple shit, of how Reckless Attack lets you attack with advantage, but then gives your Reckless, like your raging shit, a balance, as in enemies are hitting you a lot, but you're having damage. Incredible little area there. Really feels like they get what Barbarian should be about. Later, they should have given them some abilities that's like maybe like a cleave thing where they do like AoE attacks or something. I don't know. They really need something on the back end to beat them up. Like, brutal critical is a terrible feature. Criticals should never be focused in 5th edition. They don't support them like other editions. Criticals are a meme in 5th edition.
Yeah. I think the downside of Barbarian is that it doesn't do anything but hit things with a weapon, right? Unless I'm wrong. I haven't looked at all the subclasses.
So, some of the subclasses have some things to do, but
some of them have things to do.
It's basically
they gave them primal knowledge and shit as an optional feature to give them some proficiencies.
Oh yeah.
At
That's
level
actually
3 and 10.
That's a very good one.
You know,
and the leap they get to. That's
the leap is really cool. They've classes that came out later, like Ancestral Guardian, gives you talking with spirits and shit. Totem gave you some stuff at the start. They get some good flavors things. Beast and shit. Like, they get some good flavor stuff. Barbarian's always been pretty focused on combat. I find it funny when people shit on Barbarian for that, because Fighter also gets that. But people just smile when they think of a Fighter because they're thinking about noving rounds and doing a fuck ton of damage.
They're thinking of Battle Master, having other things to do than just swing. You get to do fun things. And
I would say that a lot of the Barbarian subclasses give them some fun shit.
I don't know if they change how you play, though. Maybe, I mean, Ancestral Guardian does. Because that is like, you are the tank. This is the tank subclass.
Ancestral Guardian's really cool.
Yeah, but
Beast changes how you play because you're doing, like, unarmed shit. So you can, like, do more...
Beast is nice because you get a bonus action attack. Yeah. However, there is a cost for it, and not only that, you also get like 3 choices, right? You get the claws, you get the tail, and I think there's another one that no one ever uses.
Cool.
Yeah, but the tail's like for reach, so if you don't want to be near someone, you can do like a reach tail attack. That's pretty cool. The claws give you a bonus attack, and there's like a third one that no one ever uses. I literally don't even remember
the bite?
Oh, the bite. No one ever fucking uses the bite. Why would you? Yeah, like shit like that's cool. I mean, that changes how you play a little bit, but you're still attacking. That's all you're fucking doing. There's
you're
not
really gonna get away from attacking.
I mean, I know.
You need different avenues for how you do it. That's why I like
magic items can spice this up. That's what I think. I think magic items can really spice up a barbarian.
Oh, then Wild Magic Barbarian does spice it up a little bit, and you and I have gone back and forth on this subclass.
Look, I think we both agree. I think it is a decent subclass.
Yeah, 100%.
Without any changes, I cannot believe it has a D3 in it. It infuriates me to no end. They couldn't spring for the D4, bros. Too much ink to print a 4 instead of a 3, I guess. Yeah, the only ability in 5th edition that uses a D3. The only thing.
Yeah, so I'd say, Barbarian is a martial class, so they definitely have a little less utility features. One funny thing about Barbarian, though, is they certainly come with a predisposition for how people play them, which give them out-of-game features, such as going, grug smash, angry face, and everyone in the party claps when the Barbarian player makes the obvious jokes. And you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. I mean, I like the Barbarian character archetype.
It does kind of come prepackaged with the archetype, right? It's kind of like Monk, right? You could change it, obviously.
So how do you feel about the general flavor of Barbarian? I fucking love Barbarian.
Yeah, I like Barbarians.
Flavor.
That's because I fucking love Diablo too, but that's besides the point.
I like Conan.
Fine.
Conan's best.
I think it is a complete good. We didn't talk about Artificer too much, which I would say is the same with Artificer is how I feel about Barbarian. Complete thematic and mechanical melding very well. I think both of these classes, I forgot to mention Artificer.
I don't know if it melds perfectly, but it's pretty good.
I think it makes you feel like the flavor of what the class is presenting.
I mean, you're like a big guy who could take some hits. I feel you.
Yeah, and who can go nuts.
I would like to present something real quick.
Sure.
Because I think this is going to come up more and more to talk about this. This isn't really applied to Artificer, but this is the start of, there is the funny subclass that is basically the generic subclass.
Yes.
And I know some people are gonna say it's Berserker. It's not. It's Bear
Totem
Totem. Or it's
Totem.
Totem. Specifically Bear Totem Barbarian.
Parentheses bear.
Because I'm gonna say it. When they remake this game, remove Battlemaster. That's just fighter. Remove Bear Totem.
We're not at the fighter segment yet.
I know. I'm just saying. Remove remove Totem Barbarian. That's just Barbarian. Bear Totem resistances should just be on every Barbarian. I don't care. You should be able to resist all damage except Psychic when you hit a certain level.
Yeah, 100%.
I like Bear Totem almost skirts the line of being too good to pass up.
If they had introduced better subclass
resisting all damage except Psychic, which who the fuck does Psychic damage? I mean, seriously.
Quick little funny thing. Do you remember? It's so weird to me. I forgot that they added more totem.
They did in Skag. Some of them
are okay. Cool. It's just really weird.
Them. I hate the one that's like jump distance. That one's fucking weird. But some of them are decent.
You don't like jump distance for all the times you jump in 5th edition?
See, this is the totem should just be a barbarian thing. That's why I don't like the generic subclass.
Base is a base class feature. I love totem flavor. Fuck, shamans and WoW are so cool, man.
Yes. God, if they should. Oh man, if they made a shaman class.
Listen, all I'm saying is, totem 100% the base. I would say Artificer 100%. Definitely doesn't have this problem, but Barbarian does.
I don't. Is there really a generic Artificer class?
100% not, because they're well designed. Part of it is like ingenuity in different directions, so archetypes blend very well to the class's flavor. Barbarian, however, very simple identity. Totems add to it in a fun way. They work really well. It's hard to get away from Bear, but at least there are some other good options at that level, like Wolf. There's an option for Wolf if your party has enough other melee guys that'll cream their pants just getting free advantage.
I guess. I do wish they kind of would have added something like you can change it later. Like kind of like a fighting style. Like on an ASI you can change your totem.
That'd be nice.
Whatever, but
might be busted. But nice.
I mean, every 4 levels you can change it. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly. But
I don't know. Barbarian's a very good class. I think overall.
Good class.
I do think it suffers at high levels. Personally, I still think it will. I think Bear Totem kind of. This is why I kind of like Bear Totem. Is I think it kind of fixes my problem with high level Barbarian.
Yeah,
because I think at high level resisting all damage it's just so good.
I think the Ancestral Guardian will also do good.
Oh, Ancestral Guardian is also I still think it's better just to resist all damage on yourself. You just can't beat it. I know, not Psychic.
I think it comes down to preferences there.
Ancestral is very good. Do not get me wrong. You are the best tank in 5th edition as Ancestral Guardian.
And Beast is their like go-to big damage.
That's like the striker. Now. If you want to be the true striker, you can.
So I like Beast. It. And then the other ones that are inoptimal, still pretty good besides Battle Rager and Berserker. I'll just quickly cover Berserker before we move on to Bard. I don't want to stay too long on each class with archetypes, I think. But Berserker is a meme that's bad because they have a bonus which gives them an extra attack during their frenzy they can enter, but it fucking fatigues them, which is an archaic system that isn't really used for most things in 5th edition that just completely fucks them over. It is just a horrible design.
Yes. I'm sorry, but this is something really... I've always loved the Berserker archetype. I really hate what they've done to it, because exhaustion is never used anywhere else, and I know why they did this. Because in older editions, when your Berserker would berserk,
you would exhaust after.
You would be exhausted for like 2...
Doesn't work in this.
It would be like 2 turns. You know what 2 turns were back then? Like seconds. 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Your character would be exhausted for 20 minutes. You don't lose fucking exhaustion till you take an 8-hour fucking nap.
Yeah,
Fuck off.
It's ridiculous in 5e. And the sad part is Berserker could be fixed in a number of ways super easily. One of them at this point might literally be lol, just say they don't get exhausted because other subclasses do crazy things. How much damage is one extra bonus action attack? Because it doesn't scale beyond that.
I don't know if you've ever seen this. You were talking about Echo Knight, so This is not an official subclass, but Matt Mercer did make like a Juggernaut. I think it was called.
That sounds.
I think it was called
awesome.
Juggernaut thing.
Is it the heavy armor one or?
No, you still couldn't wear armor, but your whole thing was like, it was very cool because it was kind of like Berserker, but like
Yeah.
but you had like ribbon abilities where like you did extra damage to non-living things, so you could like smash things better.
Oh yeah, like yeah.
I really
concept.
like that. It's like
That's a good idea.
decently useful ribbon ability.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
this
good.
Battle Rager. Let's talk about funny Battle Rager.
Let's move on to Bard
Oh.
instead.
Yeah, honestly, fuck Battle Rager. You're not Liam. Can I have spiked armor so I can hug people?
Hey, wizards. Cool idea. Don't ever do racial subclasses in 5th edition. It doesn't work. Moving on.
Do them, but don't actually
But don't
limit
actually.
them.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't unironically.
Bard. Let's not make these too long. I know we're gonna say
Fair.
a lot about these, but Bard, what do we think about it? We kind of talked about it a little bit before, so I think we can summarize it a bit more.
It's a 9th level caster this time.
Yeah.
I think they've lost their jack of all trades identity pretty hard, frankly. I think
Just a
they're
normal
just
spellcasting now.
they're just like a charisma wizard. That's literally what they are now. I still like the class. I mean, it's a 9th level caster. You're gonna have fun.
Oh, it fucks. Bard's fun.
Yeah,
Bard's
I think
really
magical secrets. I think is a fun thing. I don't think it should ever allow you to dip into the ranger paladin spells. I think that's
it
cringe.
should. I think it's awesome. So two sides of the same coin here.
It's just not fair that they get to pick those good spells.
That's awesome.
7 or potentially no, I think it's 7 levels before they can.
I think it fucks. I think it's funny.
I think that's very cringe.
All right. I would say shame. I feel like over time, swords was never a good subclass for them.
Swords can
Never
be
was
good, but it's not
Valor was
really that swords. The problem with swords is like
it's a joke.
the flourishes are good, but you're a 9th level caster, and I just don't ever see a point of going in for an attack, really.
That's the thing. They played with the idea that bards would get melee subclasses. They realized very quickly that it's not working out, and they moved over to just variants of spellcastery, support, debuff styles, and they're in a good place. They're good. I would say
eloquence and creation, I think, are very. I think they're very well made subclass. I think creation is a very interesting subclass.
I think it's cool. I really like them. I wish there was more singing in Bard, like the good old days.
Yeah. They don't really even sing anymore. They don't play their instrument anymore.
Yeah, I feel like they lost a lot of the flavor of being like a musician battle guy.
They've kind of turned into Indiana Jones. They're like a magical archaeologist, like smart guy who knows skills.
It's fucked up because they're basically lore wise, they're a sorcerer for some reason now, but they're just like a wizard. They're just literally like a wizard, except they have a shittier spell list. But they can fix that.
I'd say they're more like word casters now. Like they cast through like knowing languages or runes or stories that evoke something magic. Like they change from just singing. Like they're by default now they can just say shit to convince people. It's like they just have like a power of speech now. Like I guess like Dovahkiin shit, right? Like Dragonborn shouts.
I guess
the idea of
some
words
of the
power.
subclasses are a bit like that.
Yeah, that's like how like inspiration works now. Where it's like you got.
We also fall into lore bard again, which is the generic, which I actually think is a pretty good generic one.
Yeah, I like.
You get another magical secrets quicker.
Yeah, I'm of two minds because I think I really like the new flavor they fell into. I just do miss the old style of having like fun, basic AOE buffs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's just. They used to be jack of all trades, and I really like that about them. I know it never made them like the best, but
it just doesn't work. It
was such an iconic thing. I know it really doesn't.
Accuracy has not allowed that to work anymore.
It really hasn't. They're just a 9th level caster now.
I feel like we've gone too long for me again to my rant about proficiency, so we should probably just go for all these classes and stuff. But maybe I'll throw it in near the end.
I feel like I feel like they don't have like much like unique spells. You know?
No,
I feel
they
like
don't.
a bard
They-
should like have spells that like
Yeah.
only a bard can do. You know?
They
Like,
have
at least-
vicious
At
mockery.
least flavor wise, you know.
They tease it with vicious mockery at the start, and then the problem, yeah, that's the thing, because they're stuck between the old idea where they pick up shit from other people and this new idea where they have their own identity. And so, from the way they're kind of going, I think the next iteration of Bard, if they're going to keep going this way, can get a little less of the idea of borrowing things and a little more of their own identity for these bardic spell abilities or something, if they're going down this direction to make them feel full. But I would still wish they continue the way where they have that sort of pick up other spells from people and be able to adapt idea. But as it is now, it is a little bit weird in how they're in the in-between, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little awkward, but I think that's a transitional thing. Shows a lot of the signs of them not knowing what they're doing with 5th edition at the start.
Is vicious mockery even good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
alright. They're
Especially for the period when you're going to use it as like cantrip spam when you don't have a lot of options. I think it's really nice because it's like utility.
That's fair.
You rather do a debuff
alright.
and D4
I mean-
damage or a D8 damage with Sacred Flame.
I would like to point out that Bard also, I mean, Rogue suffers from this a little bit too, but they got a subclass that's just about political intrigue, Whispers. God, I wish Whispers was better. I love Bards in Dragon Age, and that's basically a Dragon Age Bard. Fuck you,
Whispers isn't
Wizards.
Terrible, at least though.
Kind of. I mean, they have the psychic blades, but that's about it. The rest is like you can talk like somebody. You can steal someone's shadow. Wow, that's a really cool concept. Will it ever come up in combat? Nope.
Yeah.
Still a 9th
Yeah.
level caster though.
Still a 9th level caster.
Yeah, sorry about my gay Dragon Age rant, but I really just, I like Bards in Dragon Age, and they made one like, and it's just not good. And I was like, fuck.
So yeah, I'd say Bard, cool class, has a little bit of a class identity issue, but still functions
Yeah.
mechanically well. All right, Cleric time. I clap. I like Cleric.
Yeah, Cleric is just generally pretty good. Pretty good.
Number one contributor of 5th edition is not universally good to port to other systems. It's entirely insane to try and explain how Cleric functions with some of its features in other settings. They're the most,
like
I'd say...
if you were like a robot or something.
I hate Critical Role! I hate Critical Role! I hate Critical Role! Save it for another
Come on,
podcast.
man.
Sorry.
Calm down.
You gotta save all that for the Critical Role.
He doesn't mean that. He's actually a big fan.
Yeah, I'm a critter. I lied.
You're a crit.
Yeah. Yeah, Cleric's good.
I like clerics. They're cool. They're
Yes.
you know,
Continue.
they're pretty cool. I think the ones that don't get access to heavy armor are cringe.
Oh, you're
But
a battle cleric.
I just like big armor clerics.
I like it too. It gives them a niche of being a spellcaster of heavy armor.
Yes, and I would like to say that I think Cleric is one of the easiest to like. If you're creating a character, I think Cleric is so cool to have because you can have. There's so many gods in like so many settings that you can worship. I mean, I'm actually a guy who thinks you can be a godless cleric, and I don't think that's necessarily cringe. I think you can make it cringe. I don't think it's necessarily cringe.
I think you have to go out of your way to not make it cringe, personally. I think you gotta put an effort to not make it cringe.
I agree. I think you do have to put an effort, but I do think it's possible.
Yeah. Alright, you're on my watch list for that one. But I'll let it slide.
Listen. I think it's so awesome because I think a lot of people enjoy going and looking at like, okay, this is my domain. I mean, the problem is sometimes there's like a cool god in the setting that just doesn't mesh well with the domain you want to play.
True.
And that can suck.
Playing.
That can suck. And not all the domains are made the same, but I think that I mean, is there really a domain that like just ruins cleric?
Not ruins. There's just some that I don't think are
like nature. People say nature's bad, but I mean, it still gets heavy armor.
Yeah, I mean, nature
and you get
war,
Shillelagh, like that's pretty good.
like nature and war being on the low end, at least they get heavy armor.
It's also a little weird that they get bark skin, though. I mean, like flavor wise, it makes sense, but like, why would you ever take that when you can have heavy armor?
Well, it's for other people.
I guess,
but it's concentration.
I mean,
so
that's true. They should get
wouldn't.
something like. See, fuck! I
Spell
wish
design.
nature would have came. Dude, if nature would have came out later, I'm telling you, it'd be the best domain.
100%.
They could have had Guardian of Nature.
Oh,
They could have had so much cool shit.
Conjure. It could have had Spirit Animal or whatever it's called.
Well, the thing is, clerics will always be good because of 3 funny spells. It's also why Divine Soul Sorcerer is a broken piece of shit.
Tell them what the funny spells are. Nah, you're crazy.
I'm
right?
joking, of course, but it's Spiritual Weapon, Spirit Guardians, and Bless.
Yeah.
Bless is not. I mean, just think about Bless for a second and why it might be good at all levels.
Bless
5th edition sucks. Proficiency's bad. Spells or any ability that increases your to-hit ratio are the best things in the game.
100%.
Because you break the game if you get too high. Because Wizards of the Coast said, dude, you're never allowed to have high to hit or AC numbers.
Okay.
And every monster will never be able to be fucking not hit if you're buffing your to hit numbers somehow.
Okay. But here's the thing.
Right,
I think cleric domains are all generally pretty good. I think death is kind of one where I go, why does it have martial weapon proficiency but not heavy armor?
I love that they have Death and Grave. Fucking idiots.
I
fucked it up.
I don't know why they have martial weapon proficiency but not heavy armor and don't have Divine Strike. No, I'm sorry, they do have Divine Strike. But their first ability is that they can double up cantrips.
Smile.
Don't worry, Tasha's fixed that. You can just change your Blessed Strike to something, or I'm sorry, they can change your Divine Strike to something good.
Don't think about it, okay,
Don't
buddy?
think about it. But I will have to point out, I'm sorry, but Peace Cleric and Twilight Cleric are so overpowered.
No, don't even try and say Twilight Cleric's comparable to Peace Cleric. Twilight Cleric's pretty good, Ben. Peace Cleric is a step above the rest. Don't even.
No. Peace Cleric is... No. Here's the thing. I think... My problem with Peace Cleric and Twilight Cleric is I think that they are such good multi-class dips into themselves. And not only that, if you just play straight Peace Cleric or straight... Twilight kind of falls off in the multi-class department. But I think Twilight in of itself is such a insane piece of shit. Peace is obviously broken. It's literally they can just double bless. Hello? Did anyone think about this?
This is nuts. I'm reading this. What the fuck?
Yeah,
They do this so many times?
Peace Cleric
Peace
is insane. Read the 6th level ability.
No, Peace is definitely insane.
I'm sorry, we all just share a health pool?
Yeah.
Wait, that's nuts. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's insane.
It's ridiculous. I cannot believe Peace Cleric got... How did Peace Cleric... By the way, fuck you, Wizards. It's love domain. Fuck you, you're cowards.
Yeah.
It's the love domain.
They didn't want to say love. A slight issue. Wizards of the Coast have really weird design focuses now because they're really sensitive about, subjects people are uncomfortable with at all. Especially, in like a fantasy setting or like in reality. There are a lot of people who they're afraid of worrying who can't disassociate and like play in a world where bad things happen. So like an archetype around love that like involves charming is apparently like rape. So you're not allowed to do that.
I would like to point out, listen, yes, you should obviously like say to your players like, hey, we're gonna have some pretty tough themes in here, I mean, don't surprise your players with a rape scene, right, guys? Like, I think we can all say,
make sure everyone fills out the consent form. You have to know what they're okay with.
There doesn't need to be a fucking consent form.
Man.
Be human beings and speak to one another.
Yeah, be human beings. But I don't think a cleric called a love cleric who has charm is a rapist inherently.
But the thing is, love cleric there's so many gods of love. It's like, guys, it's not what they meant. Guys, charms don't even work that way.
Let's move on. We're on cleric too long. Oh god.
I know. You're right.
All
Sorry.
Cleric's
just a fun class.
Cleric's fun class. Feel like a cleric.
I will say, final thoughts. I do think they fall off a little bit by the end, but it doesn't really matter. They're still a 9th level fucking class.
I think Cleric's overall is so good.
I do think, but I mean, their higher level spells aren't that great, but whatever. They're still a fucking cleric. They're there for a reason.
Yeah.
You're still good. You'll never fucking hate it. All right, next is
Druid.
the Druids.
Druids.
The Druids. Okay,
Druids.
Druid. Okay, I'm just gonna jump into it. It suffers from the general thing again. No, it isn't land. Fuck off. It's Moon. Moon is I would like to say it is WotC's hubris that got them into this mess. Moon is a broken piece of shit. At 2nd level, you will obtain multi-attack.
The problem is, it's not broken in the normal way. It's just that at a very specific point in the game, which is very early on, it has an incredible spike, and then will continue to have a life cycle of having levels where it's falling off and then spikes again. I don't necessarily think this is terrible, but the fact that it does happen at level 2 is awkward for people who try and run these games 1 to 20. Insane. Start at level 3 or something. My general rule.
Well, the thing is, even at level 3, see, they are Moon Druids. See, I've been in a game where I played a Moon Druid up to level 5. I was the best character in that fucking party. I could not fucking die. I had 2 charges of Wild Shape as a bonus action to go into it, by the way. And I had multi-attack. I had pack tactics.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're insane.
Pack tactics is so
you are so insane if you just turn into like a regular wolf and just start eating people. You're insane. You do so much damage.
You're crazy.
But here's the thing. They're so lazy that they didn't make like forms you can turn into. They didn't make your own specific stat block forms for Moon Druid.
They only thought about doing that shit later.
Yes. This is all their fault. They could have just made a specific Druid wolf that you can turn into at that level.
And let me say my piece. I'm glad they didn't, objectively, because I love the idea of I have the whole DMG of Beasts, which is now limited forever because they're scared to design them. I like that idea, but it clearly isn't 5th edition. It clearly doesn't work with what they wanted to do with 5th edition, which is simple, easy. Everything is balanced. Ooh, don't want people to have unbalanced classes. But they didn't care. So we got some very old like style design that snuck through and lets Moon Druids have fun.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I still think that
it's unbalanced. 100%.
No, I think the worst thing about it is like, dude, if you just buy like the Essentials kit or something and like, hey, dude, I want to play a Druid. I want to play a Druid. Okay, what can I turn into as a Moon Druid? Oh, buy a whole nother fucking book, retard.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Like, hello?
And people wonder why people don't want to buy fucking books and just get shit offline. I would never say do anything illegal.
Oh,
but I would also say,
please pay for Minx and Boo's Handbook of Villainy. I'm begging you.
I'm gonna kill myself. I don't want to think about my boy getting bastardized still. But yeah, terrible design in the fact that in the book you buy to own this class, you don't have shapes to shift into.
Yeah, they're not Oh, and you know what? This doesn't even apply to just Moon Druid. This applies to all the Druids.
Yeah.
Because I just realized, I mean, you never fucking use Wild Shape except for like scouting, and now later Druid subclasses have other uses for Wild Shape, and that's good. I wanted to say,
Druid, great class. They got some of the best subclasses in the game because all of them are cool. Do something pretty varied. Shepherd's the one that I would say.
Oh,
or not Shepherd.
No,
Dreams.
Land.
I mean Dreams.
Land
is vanilla spellcaster. That's something.
No, you're right. Land can at least take like, because there's 2 of them. There's the one that gives you haste as a Druid, which is cool. The other one that gives you lightning bolt as a Druid, which they don't fucking have for some reason, I guess.
Weird.
Yeah, they have call lightning, but not lightning bolt.
No, most Druid and even Dreams, while a little lame compared to the others, is still pretty decent. So Druid got a bunch of cool options. They got a summoning class. They got a weird melee spore monster form. They have like a star form from WoW where they get like damage shit. Like they got a bunch of varied options. They're all fucking cool. And Druid, overall, I fucking love Druids. They're fucking great in this edition. I love that they didn't shit on them. Because this is a class that I feel like could get shit on really easily.
We'll mention still can't wear metal armor for some reason.
Smile.
I don't know why, but whatever.
Alright. We good on Druid?
Yeah, I mean I think
Fighters.
I like it.
They're pretty fun. But how do you feel about like their pigeonholing into a single character kind of?
Okay,
True.
that is
Druid's
true.
You have to
hard.
put in a lot of effort to make a
Druids?
non-generic druid.
Yeah.
Druid is really weird. Yeah, 100%. More than like a fucking paladin or a religious guy. Druid is
a
weird.
druid is kind of pigeonholed into being what it is. I'd say probably more than any class. I think it probably is like the worst one.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Because you're like you really can't reflavor a druid that much. Like maybe spores a little bit.
You have
but,
to
like,
get a
the
little
others-
fucking egregious with it, which isn't.
I mean, I think it's gotten kind of better with the subclasses. Like, I mean, you
Yeah.
could stars could be like an astrologian or something. I don't know.
I'm not gonna say you can't. I'm just saying I find
It's
it
very
sometimes
difficult. Yeah,
to
because you
to
still have
believe-
the base druid. Like, I'm in touch with nature spells.
Yeah, it's like it's weird to believe it otherwise. You're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I guess I'm like this question
Yeah.
mark guy. I don't know. It's weird. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing they forced it to be pigeonholed, obviously, but I do think it's strange. How much you have to really break your back to not just be the generic druid archetype. That gets a little variance to it.
Mhm.
That's a weakness of the class, I'd say. But
Yeah.
some people consider that a strength. I don't know. Character class
Yeah.
you can vary in like every direction as fighter. God, fighter's a big one. I talked about it a bit though earlier with my subclass comparisons. I think. So I don't know if we need to get into them too much.
did.
Wait, fighter.
Well, I would like to say something about fighter.
Yeah.
I think fighter it's always been the problem of the fighter that it's very generic, but I do think the subclasses have really helped its flavor out this time, especially because back in the day, I mean, I'm pretty sure Barbarian was just a fighter subclass. Berserker was definitely stuff like that, but like I do think in 5th edition they might have overdone just how much better at being a martial character they are than every other martial. Because some of them bring stuff to the table. Like Paladin obviously brings something else to the table.
Barbarian always having like advantage on attacks is incredible, I'd say.
That's
Reckless attack is so good.
I don't think it's necessarily that difficult to get advantage, especially if you're a melee character in 5th edition.
I disagree.
But I mean, with flanking rules, it's
Don't use
really
flanking
not that
rules.
hard.
Flanking
You're
rules
insane.
are literally
Fuck.
non-existent.
Yeah, don't use those. Those aren't real. I will not acknowledge you if you say use flanking rules. That's the most ridiculous system in 5th edition with how opportunity
You're
attacks
just saying
are
everyone
so
gets pack tactics. It's nonsense.
Dude, opportunity attacks in 5th edition are the most lenient they've ever fucking been. Don't fucking
100%.
use rules for flanking. Flanking is only more acceptable when it's 1, not literally doubling your chances to get a good roll, and 2, when it's in an edition where opportunity attacks are relevant.
I mean, that's true, but I just feel like so many people play with flanking.
I don't think they do. I've always found it weird when I hear someone plays with flanking. I
don't know. I think I play a lot
comment
with
down
flanking.
below if you play with flanking. I would like to know or have heard people play flanking. What's the weird one? This one I've always said flanking's weird. I don't think people should play with it.
I agree that I mean, I kind of liked flanking at first, but then if you play 5th edition,
it sounds fun, and then you play and you go,
fun,
uh-oh.
but you just it ruins the
it-
balance of the game.
That's the problem.
Flanking does not feel like something that should just be a default that just exists. It should be like something that's a part of a class or like an ability. It shouldn't just be. It should never be used as something that's just a baseline in the system.
Yeah, that's true. Because
Well, and the way 5th edition does it, no.
actually,
if it was just if it was
get pack tactics.
Yeah,
no, that's what
the
Blake
problem, 'cause
means.
5th edition doesn't have too many knobs and dials to tune.
Yeah, I hate 5th edition.
I think it's worth a discussion on its own. Is that advantage? It just being roll 2d20s and take the better.
I fucking hate advantage.
It's really nice for
Limiting.
simplicity,
It's limiting.
but it is extremely limiting.
It's such a fun design at first, and then you realize they use it for everything. It's fucking awful because it's too fucking extreme. Disadvantage and advantage. It's so dumb. They need static numbers thrown in there. Flanking should just be a +2 bonus or something, or a number. But the numbers are too fucking small, so they can't do that. Fuck, I hate bound accuracy.
And they're just afraid of making players do math.
I fucking hate them.
Because
100%.
Probably because of 4th edition having numbers that were like 5 times bigger than 5th edition.
Yeah, and guess what? It was fun. Fuck.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was.
Yeah, it was. Unfortunate.
I have fond memories of 4E.
I remember 4E, but I don't remember,
anything.
I don't think I didn't know the rules. I just rolled dice, and when people asked me to.
Badass.
Hey, at least he's honest.
I loved 4E, bros. Okay. Yeah, fighters like a benchmark always. It's why discussions like this come up when people try and talk about fighters, like flanking discussions, accuracy discussions, balance between other classes. Because fighters vanilla, he's the baseline. Which is weird because in this edition, he's kind of an expert on things. He kind of gets a fuck ton of attacks. It's really a bunch of feats and stuff. It's really funny that people measure it to fighter, I think, because they are pretty good. It's not like a stat stick. It's like a stat stick, but it's a very good one. So that's why people go to it. I'd say Barbarian's more accurate for it in this edition, honestly.
Do you feel like they made fighter too broad? Do you think base fighter? Yeah, but do you think base fighter, every subclass should have proficiency in all martial weapons and should there have been this is a melee class, this is a ranged class, you know what I mean?
I like the variants personally. I like specific class like focuses being made. I think because 5th edition gave so little of a shit on how these things function, I don't think that matters. Weapon proficiency and shit is like so nothing in 5th edition as a feature that I don't think it matters that much in this case.
Mm-hmm. Should they all have had heavy armor proficiency though?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. If you could multi-class into it and get heavy armor proficiency, no. But since you can't do that, it doesn't really matter. Because otherwise, holy shit, would fighter already? I mean, it's already a great 2-level dip, but it would get even better if you could just get heavy armor that easily.
Yeah, I guess part of the point I'm trying to make is on release, at least at the beginning of 5th edition, it kind of just nullified Ranger as a class, right? Because you're just better with a bow.
Ranger's just terrible. That's the problem. Ranger was just bad at release.
I don't think that's fighter's problem. I think that's just because Ranger doesn't have a fucking identity.
You could make the same argument that fighter was better than monk and still is at unarmed fighting.
It is.
They are. They have, especially since they added unarmed fighting style. They're just better. It's awesome.
They are just better.
You're probably going to enjoy them more. Than
in fact, your fists won't meet a fighter who took their fighting style till what, like 9th level?
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
Nice monastery, jackass.
Fighting with fists is terrible in 5th edition. You want magic weapons.
You want magic weapons, and you don't want to grapple.
Grappling is like so not good and so it's not worthless.
It's never good unless there's one very specific circumstance.
It's good against casters. It's very good against casters.
So it's just standing next to them, though.
What are you talking about?
With a sword. I don't know, and hitting them and knocking them over. Beating their ass. That's good against them.
Yeah, it's a caster. Hit them with your fucking.
Well, no. But if you grapple them, they can't do. But if you grapple them, they can't do anything unless it's specifically just a verbal spell.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
Whoa,
it's
whoa,
just,
whoa.
but the thing
Looking at your
is, like,
spell book and being like, oh, this is somatic. I can't cast this spell.
Yeah, no one does that though. Exactly. Casualized. No one cares. They don't think about that.
nah, people really should. I think people look at it.
They should think about it, but they 100% don't.
I mean, that's kind of. I mean, that really should be your DM to be like, hey, can't just
Hey,
Rumify. You have to like use a component for that.
Smile.
I think. I mean, small little thing here, but component pouches and like all that shit should have been explained way better. Holy shit!
Oh yeah.
Does it not really even make that much sense until you have someone explain it to you? It's
Oh yeah.
ridiculous how little it's explained. All right, we done with fighter. I mean, I think it's the most
Like fighter.
I mean, it's clearly the best martial class. I think feats just prove that it's even better because they get more feats than everybody, which is cool. But I do think it jumps them up to being the best martial. It's
I love
just clear.
fighter. I love fighter because it has so many cool archetypes. I really like fighter.
Yes.
Battlemaster should have been a base thing with fighter, and they should have eased up on the extra attack and feat thing somewhere. They should have just made them have like maneuvers, and every class gets their own unique maneuvers.
In 5.5, they're not getting a third attack. They're just getting maneuvers like
We'll
all
see.
the time.
We'll fucking see.
That's 100.
All right.
Fighters should not even have a third attack. Really, it's too much. Fourth attack at 20th level, fuck it. But holy shit, bros, they get to attack 4 fucking times.
All right.
Because who the fuck doesn't have a bonus attack?
Talk about monk.
All right. Oh, we're at monk finally.
Yeah.
It's the worst class in the game.
Yeah. It's just bad.
I'm gonna say something controversial. I think it's always been the worst class in the game. I think base ranger is still better than monk.
Yeah, probably.
Because at least a ranger can put on a fucking bow and become a sharpshooter.
Yeah, they had our access to sharpshooter. Sharpshooter's crazy. Monk never had anything.
Monk just runs off this stupid fucking key system.
Scales poorly.
That scales horribly.
Yeah.
Horrendously scales. Holy shit, what were they thinking? They can't. Oh, let's see. They have unarmored defense accepted shit because Barbarians is just better. They can Barbarians can still fucking wear armor.
Yep. Pound accuracy, a meme. Okay. They don't let them get high dodge amounts.
Here's the problem.
Accuracy.
Here's the problem with Monk. They have a D8 hit die for some fucking reason, despite being a martial. Why do they not have a D10? They're not any better at dodging things than anyone else.
Nope.
Why?
They fought unarmored defense would be enough.
Have
but it's
a
not.
D10.
Literally no reason. It's so fucking stupid.
They should have a D10.
You don't have a 20 in your deck stand whiz?
They should listen. They should
still. What the fuck?
They're too. Okay, listen. They're too sad. You need 3 fucking abilities. You need fucking con because you have a D fucking 8 hit die. You need fucking dex to do anything. You need wisdom to make stunning strike fucking work, and also to get your fucking AC up.
Yeah.
You need these 3 fucking abilities, and the amount of ASI. I mean, honestly, Monk should probably get as many ASIs as a rogue. Should probably get one more than everyone else.
Yeah.
Because they actually, unlike Rogue and Fighter, need it to fucking live.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's so fucking stupid. Monk is the worst fucking class by fucking far. You start with a 1d4 fucking punch. Really? It should start at D6 and schedule a D12. I don't give a fuck. At level 20, my monk should hit like a great axe. Get fucked.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's...
Hey man, at least they get.
I will say there's a shining light.
There
is a shining light for Monk.
Yeah.
The optional rules, Keyfield Strike is very good. The dedicated weapon actually fixes a lot of the meme with low level Monk.
Yep.
You can just pick up a weapon that's like a versatile, like pick an elf, get elf weapon training, pick up a longsword, dual wield, literally versatile that shit. You're good. You get a D10 to hit or a D10 damage. Not on all your attacks.
God no.
but for enough of them.
That'd be too crazy, dude.
Oh, 100% right. But here's the thing. God, Monk is so fucking bad. All their key usage is too much. They don't have enough key points. Everything they fucking do costs a fucking key point to do. Why? Why does Step of the Wind even fucking cost anything? Why does I know why Fury of Blows does. No fucking shit, guys. Why does deflect arrows. I catch an arrow. Man, that's really cool. It's to spend a key point to throw it back. Why?
Well, you don't want to do
Hey, Liam,
you can deal D8 damage though. That's worth a key point, right?
I longbow 100 yards away, shoot a monk.
He
catches it, right? All right, he spends a key point to throw it back. It only has a short range of 20 feet.
Pog.
Does it really?
Yes.
Yeah, dickhead.
Specifically listed. No matter what you catch, it only has you can only throw it back 20 feet.
Pretty cool, huh?
Not even like 30 or 60?
Now, you can long range with disadvantage toss it 60 feet.
Pretty cool, huh?
But I'm spending a key point.
Yeah.
Yeah, to deal like a D8 damage because it's an arrow. Cool, huh?
Yeah, right? Pretty cool, huh?
Fucking awesome,
Oh,
right?
it's also specifically listed, just, you can't, like, catch everything. It's basically just arrows.
They don't even...
It's specifically like, missiles.
Wouldn't want to be...
Isn't a fucking thing anymore!
Magic missile.
Wouldn't want it to be too... No! Wouldn't want it to be too
like
crazy,
an archaic,
dude.
like, old thing they would call missile weapons, which is like, oh, someone throws a sling at you, you can catch the sling bullet and throw it back. Yeah, I hope my fucking monk can catch a pebble and throw it back.
I can't stand them.
It's so fucking bad. Monk is so fucking bad. If I ever play a monk, I'm literally just gonna. There's like a video. I'm not gonna go talk about it too much, but there's a video I watched on this, and I'm like, it's literally so easy to fix the monk. You just give them a D10 hit die.
Yeah.
They can use their fucking features without using a fucking key point on everything.
Yeah.
And their martial arts dice scales better.
Yeah.
Start with a D6.
Yeah, 100%.
Come on. It's not fucking hard to fix this class. I will say, however,
I don't know, dude.
There is cool. One subclass that actually makes monk decent.
Yeah, Cobalt Soul.
No, Way of Mercy monk actually kind of fixes monk.
Yeah, it adds some.
Because all of its features just go. Yeah, you can just replace like you're already spending points for Flurry of Blows. Well, you for no extra cost, you can just like make one of those a Hand of Harm or a Hand of Healing if you want.
The design space.
You get things you can use without fucking using key points.
Their design space they need is this weird zone of if you're already investing, you can get this, which is their new hot take on how to fix monk. And I hope it goes. It
unironically kind of works because Mercy Monk is pretty good.
I would like to see it done in more places, and I will confidently then declare this is a good angle. But until then, it makes me go, I don't know.
Well, no, they've already tossed it in the garbage because Way of Ascendant Dragon came out recently,
right.
And it's dog shit. It is dog shit bad. You can't fly. You can jump. Can you fly? No, jump good.
No, you can fly for the turn you use Step of the Wind.
Oh, cool!
Oh, don't worry, Ben. In case you were worried, you can only do that proficiency per long rest times.
Oh, but only if I'm using Step of the Wind, which costs a key point.
Yeah, and only proficiency until long rest times.
Yeah, but dude, you can use a key point to use it again anyway, huh?
Dude, you can spend like a fucking dude, once per long rest.
You can scream really loud.
You can use that Dragonborn feat, or you could spend 3 more key points to do it again.
Yeah, isn't it 10 feet now? Didn't they print it as 10 feet?
It's only 10 feet.
They nerfed it, and UA was 30 feet.
but dude, you can give your allies a 10 feet paladin elemental resistant aura.
Who gives a fuck?
What the fuck is this?
Honestly, monks should just get auras. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Dude, Dungeon Defenders knew. Based.
Yeah.
They knew the design space.
All right. I would like to just finish up with Monk in that,
Monk
guys.
sucks.
Monk really suffers with the fact that feats are too good in this game. Monks in a non-feat game will crush. They will probably be on par, if not better, than most marshals.
But in a feat game, there's no good feats for monks.
Besides mobile, what feat does a monk get that really helps them?
About grappler, huh?
Well, no. Grappler's one of the worst feats ever made.
Strength.
But strength.
Well,
like all the ones
Tavern Brawler is a better grappler than grappler.
Yeah, exactly. And all the feats that might benefit them, if you're like, I guess I have investment in athletics, smiley face. Like Tavern Brawler, one of its features is scaling your martial arts or your unarmed die. Like even the feats that in a drunk man's world work for Monk conflict with a feature they're already getting. It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's
and also
depressing.
What feats? Every fucking ASI, you got to improve your day 3 scores.
There are some levels where Monk get really dumb ribbons, which should just be Monk get free feat.
I like some of the. I've always been a sucker for you stop aging or whatever. I love that shit in Druid where like your life just extends. Like 10 times your lifespan. That's cool. That's a cool ribbon ability.
Oh, Ben, but monks with Crusher because your fists are blunt.
Dude,
so
you don't want to push people
away.
away from you.
No,
That's bad.
Your poor wizards surround you. Jump there and you forward your blows everyone nearby and they
No. Listen. And I would like to say, bros, in our 5th edition game, if land bites the dust at one point, I probably will just make a Mercy Monk.
Hey, Ben, you ever think about how it's pretty fucked up that one of the best feats, if it was allowed for Monk, would be Gunner?
It actually would be. You know why?
It would be. Because
Liam, get a load of this. The musket in the rules is a D12, and technically, if you had Gunner, a musket I think is technically a simple weapon, if I do believe so.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So they can make it their monk weapon. You can make a monk musketeer.
And you can do a Kensai, so you can do the ranged multi-attack.
Oh, Kensai is such a fucking meme, though.
I know, but
gun rules that they have for 5th edition are already kind of okay.
And I would like to just say, everybody, basically, all monk subclasses do nothing to fix them except for Mercy.
Smile.
Mercy is
all the monk subclasses do something great. They give them more things to spend key points on, so they look at the screen and go, I still don't have enough key points for my base features. Why do you think I have key points to spend for fucking create shadow? Ah!
I mean, Way of Shadow probably is like the second best.
Isn't that fucking depressing?
I mean, at least it's thematically consistent. It's pretty cool.
Drunken Master was okay.
No, Drunken Master's really cool, and I think if Monk had a D10 hit die, it could genuinely be a good dodge tank.
Yep.
However, if you get hit once, you're exploding.
Alright, let's switch to Paladin. We'll be here all day. Monk flavor sucks because monks are weak.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I would like to say monks are also kind of tied to their flavor. I think you can kind of mess around with it a little bit.
Everyone who tries to never gives a shit. A monastery is such a cool idea, but no one ever gives a shit, and some people just go, that doesn't make sense in the setting. And
I just want to be a kung fu guy. I want to be a kung fu guy, and they never work, because they're either too good of like a level 1 dip Pathfinder, or they're just...
Smile!
Or they're just dog shit. It's one or the other, bros. Except for Mercy Monk. I don't care what anyone says. It literally fixes all my problem with Monk. It's just good.
Alright.
It's just good.
Paladin time. I love Paladin. Actual favorite class. Second is Fighter.
Yes, Paladin is very good. I will say, though...
Cracked.
I think it's good for the wrong reasons. And I think, obviously, Divine Smite just carries the class.
Yes. Yes, and
yeah, I don't like that. I think that's really cringe.
I think it's base.
Literally, divine Smite just carrying the class is like, wow, guys, you do realize if this was gone, this class would just suck balls, right?
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing that one feature makes a class good. I think that's okay.
I think it's but how much weight it's carrying though?
Yeah, I think they could have gotten a couple more aura effects, maybe.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Aura protection's good. Adding your charisma
to
insane. Everyone's saves around you is really good.
No, this shit's great.
But
I think I agree. I think subclasses could have played a bigger role in giving them something powerful instead of letting it all rest on Divine Smite. I think Channel Divinity and Smite's importances in one edition could have been flipped. So you're getting like multiple like of the thing you get from your subclass, and you get a couple smites per day. Could have been flipped, but as is, I still find it really fun to play because smiting is so fun.
I agree. I do. See, I think this is how a lot of things should be. This is why I kind of like to go back to Mercy Monk for just a second. This is why I think I like Mercy Monk a lot because it's good because when you hit, you go, okay, Hand of Harm. Okay, I Divine Smite because you get to pick. Now I use my resource when I hit. It isn't. I do it. I fucking don't hit, and I literally do the Walter White face.
Always the best feeling to be able to declare after hit.
Now, this does lead to like, yeah, you can just do it on a crit, and like, yeah, but you know, whatever.
Let people have fun.
Whatever. Yeah.
Let them enjoy crits.
It is a little cringe.
Doesn't give a shit about crits. They're a meme.
That's true.
Let people have fun on crits when they hit. Fuck it.
Crits are a meme unless you're like going deep cover half orc champion build. Like you're going deep shit here.
And even still, it's like, what are you doing?
I mean, Paladin, I dislike how mechanically it's carried by Divine Smite. I do think flavor-wise it is very strong, and Paladins are very cool.
Hell yeah.
I do think that. I've always found it weird that I kind of like how they've distanced it from you have to serve a god or now it's you have to have an oath. I think that's really cool. I do think Oathbreaker should not have been called Oathbreaker. It should have just been Blackguard. Because if you don't have an oath, how do you get the powers?
It's like personal hatred or some shit. I don't know. It doesn't make as much sense.
But it should just be Blackguard.
I really wish they had finished Treachery because that was actually Blackguard.
Yeah, but Conquest though is so good.
Conquest is so based.
Well, Conquest is so good.
God, I guess
Paladin is really good.
I guess the thing with Oathbreaker is that it just doesn't make sense if you're like level 1, 2, 3, you take Oathbreaker, right?
Yeah,
100% not.
100% not. You just need a flavor. Oathbreaker is literally something else.
Yes, it needs to be a Blackguard.
Or you're like, we started at level 5, so I'm an Oathbreaker. I broke an oath way back when.
This is weird because well, you can flavor it as like, well, I got de-leveled because I broke my oath.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, how do you get powers if you don't have an oath? Like, who's giving you the power?
Well, the cringe shit is that you pick your oath at level 3.
Yeah, oath at level 3 is so good. It's so unbearably painful that you just have to pretend it's not an issue.
But I'm gonna be real, bros. I'm just gonna say it. If you don't begin your game at level 3, fuck you. Or if you don't get to level 3 in the first sentence,
that's a discussion in itself. Ben.
Yeah, true.
I could go off on that for a while.
So, I mean, Paladin. I would say. I think Paladin is such a good chassis. No subclass can ruin it. Like, what's the worst Paladin subclass? Like, what? I don't think
you're right.
There really isn't a bad one, really.
I guess isn't Crown not?
No, Crown gets Spirit Guardians. No.
Oh yeah, it does get.
Crown gets Spirit Guardians.
Oh my god, you're right. Wow, shit. That's pretty good.
Crown gets Spirit Guardians, and they get like a decent taunt.
Yeah. Devotion's
they're a really good tanking one.
I guess Glory.
No, Glory's still good. I think the aura's cringe, but I mean, it's still okay.
They have a lot of concentration.
They get haste. Isn't that fog?
They get haste though. Vengeance also gets haste.
That's the thing. It's just they have a lot of things they want to do for concentrating. So fights with each other, and Watchers is a little boring, but the aura is so
Watchers
good.
Will fuck if they're in the right campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
Their aura is that you add their proficiency bonus to your entire group's initiative roll. That's their aura.
Yeah.
Initiative. Holy fuck, that's good. That's going to come
Yeah.
up in every combat. That isn't like the funny. I mean, the Ancients one's good. Don't get me wrong, but there's no like guy casting magic spells. It's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
But getting a bonus to your initiative roll every fucking combat.
It adds up. It adds up.
That's pretty fucking good.
Paladins overall, pretty fun time.
I mean, it's just a strong class mechanically. It's good flavor. I mean, it's kind of weird if you want to play an evil paladin. I think. I mean, Conquest is kind of an evil paladin, kind of.
Yeah.
But not really. You don't have to be evil.
No, not really. Yeah.
Because it's. I mean, I've always been a fan of the Blackguard type.
5e,
the Black Knight, but
no, I love that shit. But 5e really took away from like.
I know, but like,
worrying about
is
that
Oathbreaker the Black Knight or is it Conquest?
Oh, Vengeance. This could be bad.
No, Vengeance is
the assassin.
Yeah, they're more like. Yeah, they're not like a Black Knight type of character, really.
No. I would say that.
Bro, they literally have
Oathbreaker
Dark
is
Knight in their description.
I would say
Oh.
Oathbreaker is kind of closer because they've got the like undead variant effects of, but that's also weird. I would say.
But
you
the
could play
thing is,
either
in Xanathar's, they say that the Conquest Paladin, the picture of the Conquest Paladin is a Hell Knight,
Yeah,
specifically
exactly.
called a Hell Knight, which what a Blackguard is.
Exactly.
They make a deal with a devil.
Yeah, exactly. So they're both. It's weird.
But then it's like, but that's a warlock.
I
Whatever.
guess I won't complain about having two variants of Black Knight, honestly. Because
They're
I
both
like
pretty
it so
cool.
much.
Honestly, they're both pretty cool.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem.
I just don't think Oathbreaker should have been called Oathbreaker.
I think we can agree on that.
It's whatever.
So,
All right, what's next?
Ranger.
Oh fuck! I'm playing a
got-
Ranger. Just so you know, I'm currently playing a Ranger. I'm playing the Fey Wanderer Ranger.
Which fucks.
Fey Wanderer is a very good subclass. I would say that if I had to put up one subclass that is like, this is how subclasses should be designed, it would be Fey Wanderer. You get something at each of those fucking intervals. They're all useful.
Really redefines a few ways you think about your class.
It's
Gives
fucking
you new ways to
based.
think on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you're still. I mean, okay. Well, one, Fey Wanderer could be an archer or like a shillelagh build because of
Yeah.
Druidic Warrior, which is nice. Which is better than Blessed Warrior. Because is anyone really playing a Blessed Warrior build Paladin?
Yeah.
Pain.
Not the play.
Not the play. So, Ranger. I think we can talk about it in this two ways: Base Ranger and Tasha's Ranger, because they're night and day.
Well, Base Ranger was sad and wanted to kill himself, and
None of their
Tasha's
features
Ranger
did
was
anything.
based. Yeah, none of their features did anything useful. Tasha breathed life into it and came with a bunch of cool new subclasses to make it not terrible.
Well, I would say that I don't think Rangers' problem has ever been their subclasses.
Except for
I think their
Beastmaster.
subclasses are, besides Beastmaster, which got a rework,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
But Hunter, I still think is pretty good. I think Gloomstalker is insanely broken because they made it that way because Base Ranger was dog shit.
Yeah.
So they tried to make subclasses carry Ranger for a while.
Which makes
And
them
yeah.
all really good. Especially now when they're not as bad.
Gloomstalker is very good. People, if they rely on dark vision to see you, they just can't see you.
Pretty cool, huh?
Okay, well that's free advantage. You get an extra attack on first round. That's really fucking good.
Oh, yeah. Fucking
it's
insane.
It's really good shit like that. I do think Ranger is the problem of, obviously. I don't think it kind of knows. I think Ranger has always kind of had this problem because so Fighter's the baseline, Paladin is a Cleric and a Fighter put together. Ranger is a Druid and a Fighter put together, but it doesn't really work the same way because they're afraid to give them anything cool. Because the quintessential Ranger is clearly Aragorn, right? I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, 100%.
He is the quintessential
What about
Ranger.
Brits?
Well,
Continue.
he has become that. Look, I don't
Well,
hate
he's
on.
D&D's version. I don't hate Drizzt. I'm
I
just
don't
saying, like,
hate
yes.
Drizzt. I actually like him a lot. I like
Yeah.
I like dual wielding rangers.
Yeah.
I wish I could play my character like that, but I know dual wielding
Unfortunately-
in 5th edition is dog shit.
Yeah, dual wielding is just one of those things I talked about earlier, where it's just you just can't do it. There's not a good thing.
I
It'll
think
never
that-
compare.
I think that in 5th edition they need to really.
Dual wielding
I
is
think
worse
th-
defensively
this
than
is-
Swordboard, worse offensively than
I'm just gonna say this. I think that they need to cut back on fighter being the master of arms, and I think ranger needs to be the dual wielding specialist. I think that they need to double down on it. It's gonna give ranger its own fucking identity. It needs to be the dual wielder or the bow guy
I could
or
see
both.
it. I don't know if I'd agree, but I could see it.
I'm sorry, but like, fuck, they need something because they don't make any cool ranger spells. Trust me,
Yeah.
because they all fucking require concentration.
All right. Yeah, Liam.
Yeah, it's just really disappointing that dual wielding is so shitty because
Yeah.
wasting your bonus action to do literally like a D6 or whatever the fuck your shitty weapon's gonna be is just doesn't feel good, does it?
It's
No.
never good. There's always better.
And then it just takes away probably what your cool class shit is. Because
yeah,
they usually throw that shit in the bonus actions.
yeah, and even with a class that doesn't have something immediately, like maybe a fighter or barbarian who doesn't have a bonus action thing in their class, they're gonna want to use two-handed because a great weapon master will deal more damage.
They're gonna want to do that, or be a crossbow. I mean, obviously not barbarian,
Or a
but
crossbow expert.
fighter will
or-
want to be. I mean, let's be real. Let's just say it. Fighter with crossbow mastery is the best fighter. You can't get past
battle
it.
master, crossbow expert.
Ranged is better than melee.
Yep.
Sorry, bros.
Archery fighting style is insane.
The archery fighting style is just
Sharpshooter
broken.
doing the same amount of damage as great weapon master. Very questionable decision.
Yeah.
Very questionable. in
Yeah.
how it makes range
See,
just better.
I will say sharpshooter is just better. Even taking away the archery fighting style, I think not having disadvantage from shooting at long range is
It's
much better
crazy.
than if you kill somebody, you get a hit again. Like,
Oh, yeah.
wow, really cool. Don't
Oh, yeah.
care.
Oh yeah, no, you can.
I
Just
mean,
shoot
don't get
from
me
crazy
wrong, that
range.
comes
It's-
up. It's
No, it
not
does.
worthless, but who
Well, you know
gives
what's better? Wasting 4 of the enemy's turns
Okay,
trying to get to you
hold
while
on.
you're killing them.
I would like to say something. Tasha's Ranger did fix a lot of things. It does have some cool things. I do like at level 10, you can just turn invisible as a bonus action.
Yeah, it's
Instead
cool.
of just, you rub mud on yourself and they're camouflaged like it used to be. Yeah, wow. Holy shit.
They used the way the old Ranger was written was like they didn't want to acknowledge Ranger did magic. It was very interesting.
Yeah, okay, I'm just going to say it. If you think that Rangers should be like artificers and like, oh, their magic is like tricks they've learned, fuck you. Rangers are
If-
magical.
You're saying fuck the people who want Rangers to be Witchers, which I agree.
Yeah.
Don't turn Rangers into Witchers, please. Make a Witcher subclass for
I
a
mean-
fighter, not a Ranger.
I mean, Monster Slayer is kind of like a Witcher, but not really. Blood Hunter is the
Well,
Witcher.
I mean,
Play
Witchers
Blood
have
Hunter.
the whole elixir angle, which is what they did at one point. They printed the Poultice Ranger edition.
Oh my god,
They're
they did.
There's some weird official but not fully like recognized as finished project versions of
I
Ranger
just
they
think-
played with, and it's very
Yes.
funny to look
We didn't
at.
talk about this with Paladin, but Ranger is a half caster as well.
Yeah.
I think obviously Ranger suffers the most being a half caster because it actually has to rely on spells, unlike Paladin, who just uses it to hit harder.
Oh yeah.
Which sucks because Paladins not only get the better spells, like Find Greater Steed, which Rangers aren't good at getting animals, I guess. Cool.
Very based.
Yeah, they don't get any cool spells really. Like, what does Ranger get? Swift Quiver at 17th level? Too bad a Bard got that at 10th level.
The spirit animal thing's kind of cool now. And
Wait,
Hunter's
wait,
Mark.
whoa, I'm
was
sorry,
cool.
what Spirit Animals thing?
What's the fucking thing you get now? What's the
Summon
golden
Beast?
acorn?
You mean the
Summon
thing
Beast.
Druid got at 3rd level?
Nah, Druid gets it too now. Yeah, but it's pretty cool.
Why
Yeah.
don't Rangers get like ritual casting
I don't
for
know.
like naturey stuff?
It
They
really
should.
feels like they should.
They should have been like the ritual half caster. They should have gotten like more like that's kind of this is actually what I kind of like about Tasha's. I mean, we've had very funny encounters where I get a free casting of Speak with Animals.
Yeah.
And now I actually at 5th level, once we get to it, I'll get a free casting of Beast Sense, which is a fucking useless spell. But hey, whatever. I mean, you get these. It's nice to get these free cast. I mean, even a druid doesn't get a free casting of fucking Speak with Animals, which fuck a druid should just be able to speak with animals. They should really just know how to speak with animals, but fuck it, I guess. It's a combination of. You'd think that paladins would have the worst paladin-specific spells. They actually have better spells than ranger, and they have a better way to use it than their better spells. But if they want to fall back on their better spells, they can. But rangers just.
It's a whole mess. Rangers
just don't have any cool spells. They have Zephyr Strike, which is concentration for some reason.
Yeah.
Why is Zephyr Strike concentration?
That's that same way where there are those weird paladin feats or smites that have concentration on them. Like, I don't know what the fuck that was about. But Rangers unfortunately suffer a lot more from that as opposed to paladins who generally don't have something they're concentrating on as much besides maybe Shield of Faith.
I actually kind of like the smite spells. I think they're not all bad, but...
No, I don't think they're all bad. I'm talking about the concentration part of them is weird.
See, this is the thing that fucks with me about Rangers.
Okay.
So, let's say that I had a feature like, 3rd level, Rangers, you can once, on one of your hits, you can roll with advantage 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between that and Zephyr Strike? Like, that's all it is. Like, why does it have concentration? Why do so many ranger spells have concentration?
I don't know.
Why?
They didn't want to be, I don't know. There's no good explanation.
I mean, this goes into why concentration is kind of a bad system, honestly. And it's on really just random spells. Just some spells will just randomly have concentration.
Yeah, concentration's just another mechanic that sounded like a good idea and then wasn't properly moderated to continue to be a good idea, so this became kind of weird.
This goes back into it why I love Feywander so much, because they had fun making the subclass. At 11th level, I can cast the Fey Summon spell, right? I don't have to use any material components or anything for it. I get a free casting of it. I don't have to use any materials or anything. Just do it on any of the casts, not just my free one. And I can, if I choose to make it a duration of 1 minute, it doesn't use concentration.
That's pretty cool.
What a cool fucking feature.
Yeah, that's a pretty fucking interesting
I get to edit a spell. This is why Sorcerer is really fun, because you get to edit your spells.
Oh, man.
Do more shit like Feywander. And what else do they have? Swarmkeeper.
We've been on Ranger for too long.
Yeah, sorry, but I mean, Ranger's kind of a pretty memey class. It's been memed on.
It was shit for so long.
Shit for a very long time.
It's only recently.
Don't get me wrong.
More viable.
Monk is still worse. You could have still went Sharpshooter, been a bow memer.
100%.
But whatever.
Rogue.
So it is what it is. All right, what's next?
Rogue. You guys like rogues?
Yeah,
I like rogues.
We've already explained good chassis.
Yeah,
good chassis.
I kind of went through all these, didn't we?
Yeah, we kind of started with rogue, honestly.
Yeah, rogues are good.
It's just a good chassis.
Good. Sneak attack good. They're always useful.
I would like to say, I cannot believe they made a class that can only attack once. Good.
Yeah.
It can only attack once, and it's just good. And they can bonus action disengage. They're really... See, they can just do that while as a monk has to pay a fucking key point to actually fucking disengage.
Monk learns at monastery for 20 years how to disengage for a key point. Kid on street picks pocket, disengages bonus action. Smile.
Yeah.
That is pretty fucked up, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So this kind of goes into the point of Rogue fits its. I mean, Rogue has been here since the start. It fits its iconic role very well. I wouldn't honestly. Are they the best at stealth? Depending on subclass, probably right. Thief has that really good supreme sneak.
They get expertise and shit. And
skills, they're like skill monkeys. They get lots of expertise.
They're one of the only classes that can interact with skills because skills are barely focused on mechanic at 5th edition. Smiley face.
Well, yeah, to an extent.
You can't really do much outside of just have the correct stat for skills most of the time. You can't really invest in them further.
Yeah, Thief does what it. Now, I will say Rogue fucked over a lot of classes for a long. They've kind of stopped this now. They really just wanted expertise to be a Rogue only thing, and I agree
And a
that
Bard,
Rogue
too.
should be the class that gets it the most. I think it's
Yeah.
cool that they get expertise.
Yeah.
But now they've given it to Ranger. Ranger gets expertise. Who else?
There's
Bard.
a feat. There's a
Doesn't
general
Bard
feat.
get it now?
Yeah,
too?
Bard always had expertise.
Yeah, Bard has always had it a little bit. They've
there's a
always been
general
kind of scared to hand it out.
There's a general feat now you can take to get +1 ASI and expertise and skill.
Yeah, I think
It's
that's
alright now.
it's
That's
very good. I mean, it does
You
what
need
it,
a way to interact with skills. There's not a lot of ways.
it does what it says on the box, and it fucking works. Even no subclass can fuck this class up. You can play an
You
inquisitive
can't,
rogue.
because you can't take away sneak attack. You can't
can't
take away
sneak
cunning
attack.
action.
Yeah.
It's good. It's doing good. It gets very good base features.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Even get weird shit later on, like they just get blind sense. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, they just fucking get that. It's very nice.
Yeah.
It's probably why classes like Monk aren't very good, because they can't give Monk shit like cunning action.
No, yeah.
Without how it is.
Like hacks.
Yeah, but if they were smart, they just would have given it to both of them.
Alright. Rogue good, thumbs up,
yeah,
everyone.
Rogue good. Rogue good.
Yeah. I like
Look,
Rogue.
it's sorcerer time.
Sorcerer.
So we make sure Blake isn't dead.
Yeah.
No,
How you liking your sorcerer,
I'm here.
Blake?
Alright.
Sorcerer.
I have only my very limited experience with it, but
You're playing a home brewed one technically, so.
Okay.
Well, I would like Blake, before you say this, I think we need to say there are two sorcerers. There are pre-Tasha's sorcerers, and then there are Tasha's sorcerers.
Yeah.
You are in the middle, my friend.
No, he's a Tasha sorcerer.
Kind of.
He has an
Well,
expanded spell list.
yes. Go ahead and explain, Blake, please.
I am currently playing a divine soul sorcerer. Is there anything else to say?
Okay, well,
Very cool. Let's go.
I don't know how to talk about this.
I'm
Okay.
sorry,
Well,
Blake.
like Divine Soul is like one of the release classes, right? And it's cringe and didn't
No, it is not. It was.
No,
No, Liam,
like,
they took a
Tasha.
long time. They took a long time. Like
No.
They put out some Unearthed Arcana for a bit at first, before they got to like, what was it? Was it Storm that first started doing this? I forget. What was the first one that had
the first had the bonus
Yeah.
spells?
Was it Shadow or Storm?
No, Storm and Shadow don't have bonus spells.
You're right, they don't. What the fuck?
No, it's Aberrant Mind and Clockwork Soul. That's why it's pre-Tasha's and post.
No. I mean, like, even in UA when they started fucking with it, Ben. Do you remember?
What do you mean?
Well, they had a bunch of UA sorcerers they never finished. Like,
That's true. Oh, Giant
like the
Soul should have came
Pyromancer, the
out.
Giants, the Elementals, like Pyro C
I
or
fucking
shit.
hate them
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
yeah, like
Giant Soul should have
Stone
came
Sorcerer.
out.
Like Stone Sorcerer
no!
had the list.
Don't remind me of Stone Sorcerer. No.
There are literally as many currently listed like available subclasses that aren't released that they had in UA of Sorcerer. Sorcerer's a class they keep trying and never finishing making shit for. The Elemental Sorcerers were really cool. Sorcerer's cool. They're the inherent spellcaster, so they get spontaneous shit. For a long time, they just were shittier than Wizard because their spell was pretty limited in this edition.
They only had like 20 spells.
And in this edition of D&D, there's not really ways to alter, like, build yourself to get more spells. It's always just tied to your class leveling. So there wasn't a lot for them, and they kind of fell behind. Metamagic didn't do enough to make them comparable to Wizard. And so a long time they kind of sat in their shadow a bit, not being as good, but still having benefits of doing things like multi-classing into Paladin or Warlock for some fun builds, but still had some issues. But like we said, post-Tasha, they started giving Sork spell lists of spells they get for archetypes. So a lot of people just retroactively make spell lists for the archetypes that didn't get them, add them on to make it balanced. And
Yes.
with that and the slight additions to the metamagic shit they got with Tosh's, I'd say Sorcerer's in a good place now.
I will say that the first step, technically, Noah, is Divine Soul was the first step.
Yeah,
in
it
my
was
opinion,
the first
because
step.
they did get an extra spell that could be changed,
Yeah.
just like the ones later,
Yeah.
and you could pick any spell from the Cleric spell list, which is fucking massive.
Which is
That
awesome.
is a very good.
It's awesome.
It's
God,
very good. I think Divine Soul was when people started actually playing Sorcerer, because yeah, you only had like 21 spells, but at low level you could pick really good spells, and then at high level you were still a sorcerer.
Divine Soul is pretty nutty. It's original edition. What had extra attack and stuff when it was like a half fighter thing. That was some fun stuff.
Ugh.
I loved it. It was so broken though. It was so cool.
Now I will say Giant Soul, it not being printed is a sin, but
yeah, there's
whatever.
Sorcerer, I've always loved the flavor of the magic in the blood. Super cool.
Dude, Sorcerer is my favorite class flavor-wise. It's so much you can do. Like,
it's so cool.
The possibilities of a Sorcerer are endless. It's ridiculous, man. Like, I mean, I'm a fan of wild magic. I'm a wild magic type of guy. I like rolling that D100. I think wild magic, it's written very DM dependent.
Absolutely.
Because they choose when your subclass features work. Very cool.
Really weird.
And they also choose when you get banned.
That's true. But meta magic, just when it came out, man. Oof. I mean, Quicken's good.
Twinned has good
Twinning is good in the right spell.
Titan's good for savers suck. It's just an investment. And then it was just like, but it just wasn't enough because you didn't have enough sorcery points to ever really justify.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I've never really felt like sorcery points are their problem either.
No, God, no. It just was never enough of a benefit compared to what they
You just never have enough spells. Like wizards get to pick like 4 fucking spells every time they fucking level, dude.
Yes, exactly.
It's fucking ridiculous how many more spells a wizard would have. Well, one, they could just get them all because that's their mechanic.
Yeah.
But like,
no.
Sorcerer now, I mean, honestly, I would like to say, well, maybe we should do some wizard when we get to wizard, but I would say the gap is closed considerably. I think sorcerers are the best, most improved class.
I really like their optional features. I mean, they let you swap meta magic and cantrips now with sorcerer's versatility. Also, at ASIs, magical guidance is a really good feature at level 5 they get now. When they fail an ability check, you can just spend 1 sorcery point to reroll the d20 and have to use the new roll. Very nice. That's really good. That's some good shit. That's good flavored shit. Good. That's really powerful to its ability check. So that'll be really useful out of shit. And 1 sorcery point is a price I'd fucking pay for that.
Oh yeah.
It's not premium advantage. You only go to the new one and take it. But if you roll bad, I mean, you're never going to complain about rolling slightly worse. It's good. I like sorcerer a lot.
Yeah.
I really like playing a sorcerer. It's really fun because you get a very stuck niche in what your bloodline power is, but you can then take that in a lot of different directions for your character. Very fun.
Oh yeah, man. The flavor, I just can't get over the flavor, Noah. It's
so good.
Sorcerer's so good, dude.
So fun.
You can do so many things with a sorcerer.
Yeah.
All right, what's
Warlock before we get to wizard.
Why is that?
Very order-wise, but very controversial class, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because it is really cool and really strong and has a cool identity, but it is just so multi-class like bait because they made so many characters charisma focused in this edition that it is so easy to justify a warlock dip, even for like just like tons of different things.
Even 3 levels.
Yeah, like
is good.
It is so silly.
It sucks, dude. Because I mean, Hexblade. Hello, Hexblade fixes the one problem paladins have, where they, oh no, I might have to go strength and charisma. Now they can just go, fuck it, I go charisma.
Yeah, and it's sad because Hexblade itself is a really cool class to do like straight.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. We should say that Warlock is a good class by itself.
Warlock's a great class, flavor-wise, design-wise,
and flavor-wise. It makes sense why you'd multi-class into one.
That's the worst part. It even makes sense to multi-class into one. God, Warlock even gets a D8 hit die. Warlock is so bad.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't believe they carried that over because that's a thing from 3.5 where Warlocks were like
use
weird class. Yeah, they
burn health and shit.
No, that was the prestige class.
Well, didn't they have shit where they damage themselves, or am I crazy?
Something. The Hellfire Warlock was the one that would do hit die.
I guess I'm just saying about Hellfire.
Well, the thing is, that was like their meme back then. Is like, oh, I'm like a caster that can wear armor, and I have like a higher hit die. Like I'm a bit more of a tanky guy.
They were like the cleric caster.
Because I'm gonna be real, guys. Warlocks are just like archers. They're just archers who can cast spells.
Spell archers, yeah.
Because Eldritch Blast is basically like firing an arrow. Eldritch Blast is
in the game.
Oh wait, except it does more fucking damage.
Except it does more damage and will scale.
It does more damage and you can do it 4 times. Yeah. Oh, and then you could bonus action quicken spell if you're a sorcerer multiclass and do it again.
Or if you're a fighter, then action surge.
Or if you get illusionist bracers, haha. Liam, please.
So... What's up, Liam?
So do you think that it's strong
by itself
in a multi-class because people don't play the Warlock angle enough? Like they're packed.
Yeah, I mean, I think people who play Warlocks, we didn't talk about this too much, but there are certain classes where DMs should do more with them, and Warlock is the premium one.
Oh, 100%.
The pact you make with the being should influence bits of the game and should be an issue that it needs to be dealt with. Not to say that the pact should be like kicking your player in the nuts all the time, but it should be something they have to consider because it's a fun role-playing option. And you're taking away something from them by not playing with it. But you're also then, like Liam said, it's a great point. If they just multi-class into it for the meme, like if you're not then forcing them to actually have to, play towards their pact maker. It'd be like if someone multi-classed into Cleric and never talked about their spirituality at all. It's like you need to like talk about this angle to make this class not crazy and to like, make it so it's not just a meme to multi-class into for my funny paladin smites on short rests.
Yeah. And there's like the issue of, I'll just take Hexblade. What is the weapon gonna fucking get mad at me, Lamau?
Well, the thing with Hexblade is it will. It's a curse. You're cursed.
I would like to say,
as opposed to like.
Well, no.
Black Razor is Liam.
Hold on.
I don't know. It seems much less omnipotent.
You're out of your mind.
I'm with Liam.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm with Liam. 100%. Hexblade has the weakest fucking flavor to it of all the Warlock packs. Get fucked.
Okay.
Hexblade literally is like, it's just a talking weapon. Oh, and Raven Queen or something. Which is it? I don't know.
Listen, that's only because it gives
Even
you
though the Raven Queen isn't in Forgotten Realms.
Ben, once again, just refusing to acknowledge reality. I'm sorry, Ben. She's in Forgotten Realms. I know it might not have been right away, dude, but she is now.
Honestly, let's let the viewers decide. Let's let the viewers decide.
I mean, anyone who does a cursory glance at any resource will understand she's in the Forgotten Realms now. I'm not saying she wasn't added later, Ben, but she is.
God,
anyway, idiot. Anyway, literal retard.
Okay.
I would say Hexblade requires the most creativity out of them because, it's
terrible flavor. Awful. Non-existent.
Do you really think it's that bad? Do you really think having a cursed weapon is bad flavor?
Well, it's not a cursed weapon, though. It's not.
It's
not. It's
like
not because you can take any weapon and make it your pact weapon.
Ben, I know, but it is bound to the spirit of a weapon.
Okay, I'll admit that's the UA version. If you read the UA version of Hexblade, that is what it was. And if you read the Xanathars, it's just like it's the Raven Queen's blade or something. I don't fucking know. It's from the Shadowfell.
I've read it. It's something for. It's a cursed weapon from the Shadowfell you've made that is like bound to you. It is the spirit of the weapon.
Okay, but
It is.
then,
You were basically like fucking with some weird thing that is like sentient of the Shadowfell, which I think is pretty fucking tricky to deal with because there's nothing that comes from the Shadowfell that isn't an asshole.
yeah, pretty much. I don't know. It's still
Cursed weaponry is always
is
a
there
problem.
a weaker? I mean, no. Even Undying Warlock has better flavor. It's just a fucking lich.
I think you're blowing it out of proportion. I think you're in your headspace.
I just think I don't know. I would agree with you
Ben,
if you got like a weapon that upgraded, but you can just take any weapon and go, this is my pack weapon.
Well, it's like you're putting it in the form. It's like you're infusing and connecting it with the weapon you're trying to fucking like.
Well, yeah.
If your weapon is like a tulpa.
Yeah,
for the
but
spirit.
if you said like, oh well, this weapon can take the form of any weapon I choose, but that's not what it is because you can use it with magic weapons.
Yeah, but it's like you're infusing.
If I got
it
Black
with
Razor, I could point at it and go, "That's my pack weapon."
Well, the way Hexblade should work is you should be acknowledging that it's like you're sticking the pact into it and like corrupting the weapon with it or something, right? Like that's how it's flavored.
Now, don't get me wrong. You can flavor it like.
I guess you're right.
You can flavor it that way, but it's really weird. Like, oh, here's your +1 longsword, and you're like, okay, well, do I just like connect it with my other sword? Or...
Well, that's why it's called Hexblade's Curse, because you're like weird.
Are you cursed though? Really?
Well, you're kind of, and you're able to fucking curse people too. But like, you're about hexes and shit. And like, I get like cursed weaponry in D&D is always something that's supposed to like stick to you until you get a way to get rid of it, right? Like, I think it's playing with that idea. Like, this pact you've made isn't something you can get rid of. It will become your weapon no matter what, and try and like, you know, whisper what you want it to do with it. No matter what sword you have, it's your Hexblade eventually. It's in there. Like, that's what I always read it as. Like, yeah, maybe I'm bigging it up, but like, I guess the point is the text is ambiguous enough that someone like me can read it, think it's cool, and someone like you can read it and think it's dumb.
I think what you're saying is cooler, and I wish that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Literally,
it's
just
too
not
vague.
what it is. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you could totally play it that way, and God, please do. I think Hexblade in itself is just bad flavor of all the other ones. It's like you can be a deal with a devil. That's the obvious one, right? The devil,
right?
Awesome,
classic,
based, Fey,
Fiend,
based. Easy. I mean, obviously there's gonna be a Fey fucking subclass for this. Easy. Fucking. I mean, Fathomless is like, yeah, I guess there's probably like evil. I mean, Fathomless kind of moves in on Great Old One a little bit. Great Old One is like, oh, you've like, honestly, Great Old One has great flavor because it specifically says like, oh, you just like kind of tapped into its power and you're like a little gnat on its skin. Like
here's the thing.
You are on some big shit right now.
Here's the thing. The Hexblade is bad because they didn't ever want to acknowledge what the entity is that they're talking about.
Yes, that is why I despise it.
They kept it vague because they wanted you to make it, but by accident they made it too vague. Because they just say there's a force in the Shadowfell that makes these weapons and is weird. And then they say, maybe it's the Raven Queen, but like, not confirmed. Look, so you are tentatively the Raven Queen is your patron if you're a Hexblade, or it's a cursed weapon, and they basically gave up. And you're 100% right, but I'm arguing the vagueness is enough.
I still think it's the weakest of the flavor, though. I mean, the other ones are defined.
Well, I look towards the peanut gallery. Liam, Blake, what do you guys say before we go to Wizard?
Well, hold on. We're not done with Warlock, friend. Hold on.
I think we're talking about Warlock for like a while, aren't we?
Well, we talked about Hexblade, which is the...
Yeah, but... Okay.
Well, how do you... Alright, moving on from the fucking nonsense. How do you guys feel about, like... they have, like, 2 spell slots the whole game.
Based.
And they get them back at short rest.
Based. Awesome. Cool way to vary a source.
Because Mystic Okay, I want to just say, Mystic Arcanum is the coolest way to get spells.
So cool.
I fucking love that you are literally CBT'd for like 11, like what is it, 9 levels, and then you get here's your 6th level spell. Pick one. You can just you get it back on. Wait, no, those are on long rest. I think. Whatever, it doesn't matter. because you have such sustained damage anyway.
Eldritch
It doesn't
Blast.
matter
Your
how little
evocation-
you get.
And you get a bunch
and
from
your invocation.
You get
Oh,
invocations.
invocations.
Invocations are so cool. Warlock is so cool because Warlock has like 3 to
So
5.
customizable.
It has like 3 to 5 different modular customization things. They have a mini subclass thing with the pacts. They have the invocations. They have the mystic arcanums. Then they just also have their fucking their class or the subclass. Warlocks are awesome.
Yes, they're the most customizable class, and they're fun as hell.
God, I want to play.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wish. Our Artificer has a lot of customizability in the same vein, but I feel like the invocations just let you be much more.
Oh, invocations are.
Artificers will get better the more magic items they make.
Because
they could use more infusions by default, I'd say, but yeah.
Here's the thing. I think you can take a bunch of people and none of them will make the same Warlock. Exactly the same.
What do you mean?
Except for Reddit memers.
Well, no, I mean people, but
like your actual
like there's obvious
table.
invocations to take, but then there's some that are just like
fun.
There's some that are just fun. Like you can cast a spell like forever. Like you can just cast it at will. Fuck it.
It's awesome. Mage armor
they're
every day.
Fun. And the Tasha's ones were fucking great. The Pact of the Talisman. I mean,
so cool.
It's probably the least flashy, but it is pretty cool.
It's
like
fucking
you can
awesome.
make like a kind of you can kind of like fully go support Warlock now.
Pact of the Tomes. You get big
Pact of the Tome,
Pact of the Chain isn't actually shitty. You get like a kind of cool pet for like the WoW people. To,
I mean,
like,
the only problem.
You know that.
Pact of the Chain. The only problem with that is there's obviously one of the pets you can pick that you always do.
Yeah.
It's the one that can go invisible and fly. Obviously, you pick that one.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then Pact of the Blade, unfortunately, kind of sucked. However, Hexblade overcorrected and made it too good.
Which is why it's based. Smile.
Yes, they probably should have just updated Pact of the. See, this right here is just WotC. Instead of just fixing Pact of the Blade or giving them better invocations, literally this is something they already had built to make them better. They made an entire fucking subclass to make it better.
Because everyone wanted Hexblade, because it's a fan favorite.
I guess, but
people just banged their drum and said, "We want Hexblade."
Don't get me wrong. Warlock probably deserves like a Gish subclass. Don't get me wrong, but like,
yes.
I do feel like it's kind of gay that like, oh well, I mean, wow, dude, you're like a genie warlock taking Pact of the Blade, really? Like, yeah, okay.
Maybe your genie's in a blade. I don't know. Fuck off.
No,
it can't be. I know.
Oh, and don't get on Natasha's subclasses, genie.
Base, awesome.
What a good fucking subclass. What an actually amazing subclass.
Fucking awesome.
Holy shit, bros. Fathomless is whatever. Genie's where it's at. All right, let's go to Wizard.
All right, Wizard time. Broken piece of shit class. I love it.
They're the quintessential 9th level caster. They are cracked out of their minds. They get the most subclasses because they're based. Except for
their subclasses are just insane.
Some of their subclasses are dog shit, and some of them are insane. Doesn't matter. You're still a wizard.
Yeah, you're never gonna hurt. Oh, I took an unoptimal spell. See, this is where I look at it and go, this is okay for unoptimal builds. Subclasses on wizards, some being less good than others, is fine. Because they'll still give you something funny to do that you can appreciate, and you don't feel like a piece of shit because you're still a wizard. This is how you do unoptimal shit, not sweat it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, obviously they had one for every school of magic. I mean, of course.
Yeah, of course.
I think some of them are pretty bad. I think transmutation is clearly terrible.
Clearly, yes.
Diviner is clearly broken. Portent is one of the most fun abilities in the game. Diviner Wizard is insane.
Yeah.
Portent, literally just, I rolled a 20. No, you didn't. You rolled a 3.
Smile.
It's insane. I do think the power gap is pretty wide, but I mean, end of the day,
still a wizard.
Wizard. I mean, Diviner and Chronergy are clearly the best, but whatever. You could probably still go. I mean, I would play a Graviturgy Wizard.
Divination, Chronergy, pretty fucking good.
They're
Graviturgy's really dumb, but like I said, it's still a wizard.
Graviturgy
No.
is, I would say, middle of the pack, a little bit below. Maybe.
Definitely not middle of the pack, but okay.
It has forced movement with no saving throw. That's middle of the pack, easy. 100%.
Okay.
As a wizard with all those control spells, come on.
Okay, but transmutation, dog shit. But that's the only one that's dog shit. The rest are fine.
The rest are
Graviturgy's pretty
fine.
shit, but the rest are fine.
Illusionist
Blade
can
Sync?
About
Blade
what?
Sync.
Blade singing is amazing.
Tasha's or Skag because they got changed.
I don't know.
If Tasha's, I think it became even better. Skag was okay.
Yeah, in tosses. You play by tosses. It's the best update.
I think
fucking awesome.
I think Blade Singing still has a problem of why would you?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that being able to replace one with a cantrip is fucking cool.
No, that's
God,
awesome.
God,
that's
I
so
wish.
good.
God, I wish so many fucking Gishes could do that.
Yes.
The problem is, this is kind of why Swords Bard. It's like bad too. It's like, why would I be attacking necessarily?
But with the cantrip replacement, it's worth it because you want Dex as a wizard as your second stat. Arguably, I say. I value Dex up very high for wizards. I like the Dex rather than con most of the time. I think that's a matter of opinion, but you justify it so easily, and the extra attack, fucking getting like you are doing better than Eldritch Knight's War Magic shit, which used a bonus action. You are pretty fucking great. It's really fucking good. You know what you can also do if you don't invest in that? Use a crossbow to make the attack, then use a range cantrip, because it works with ranged. It's not just the melee ones. Doesn't have to be in Bladesong even.
I like that shit, and I actually like Bladesong as an ability.
Bladesong's awesome.
I like Bladesong. I've always wanted to play like an arcane trickster that dips 2 for Bladesong.
Yeah, super cool
I think
idea.
that's very cool. But
it's great because it scales with proficiency.
I really fucking. It's just the problem of Gishes where I'm like, but is there ever really a point where I'm gonna want to attack that bad? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's gonna be turns where you're concentrating on something, and like, yeah, I could probably throw out like a fireball or something, but
yeah,
maybe I'll just attack. Whatever.
The extra attack with the cantrip is what convinces you to do the attack because it does very good damage without expending resources that turn.
Yeah, it's fair. I don't know. Sometimes just like I just don't know sometimes. I guess it is something to fall back on, really.
No, you don't cough.
And again, at the end of the day, you're still a fucking wizard.
You're still a wizard
shitting on people.
You're a wizard who's getting better abilities to do non-resource draining damage amounts. It's very good.
It is. It is.
No, it's awesome. And guess what? You keep going, you eventually get into damage at level 14. You're getting nice reasons. Like,
yeah,
you're being able to cast awesome spells. You have pretty decent melee. You're able to go into a super mode where you get into defense and you can cast shield to make it crazier. You are fucking base.
I will say that although I think
ready for my Blade Singer next.
It probably does. I mean, once you get that one, what is it at 18th level? I think you can cast a first and second level spell without doing anything, like without spell slot.
Oh my God, you're crazy.
I think by that time it's like, yeah, probably falls off around then. But like by 18th level, who gives a fuck anyway?
Who gives a fuck? Even at 18th level, when you're doing it by that,
and even then, you could still just be like, well, I take shield as my first one, so I can just do shield whenever, and then I take
shield whenever and do it.
Yeah,
you get a good sword, shield whenever. Your cantrips, melee cantrip scales like crazy.
See, this is what pisses me off. They go back and like save Blade Singer to make it just like incrementally better.
Why not Battle Rager, Sun Solar, Banneret?
Well, no, fuck all those.
No, I like Banneret.
I do like Banneret. I just wish that it was. I really think you could fix that easily by just being like, well, it applies to you and someone else.
Yeah.
Well, then it gets sharing an action. Well, no, sharing an action wouldn't be that insane.
Listen, give me an hour and I could fix Banneret.
No shit.
Lock me in a room, I'll fix it.
All right, fix Battle Rage.
Okay, that's hard.
Yeah.
Because I have to get over how ridiculous of a class
how about
concept
War Magic? How about War Magic?
I mean, it's not bad. It's just not great. It's
I think
like
War Magic.
it gives you the wrong idea. It's kind of like defense magic.
Yeah, it's like I'm an abjurer, but I'm not an abjurer.
You're like a.
None of your shit does any damage except for like the last ability you get.
It's like you're an armor magic user. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad.
See,
you get some good
but
durability.
Abjurer, I just feel like Abjurer is just better because like they just get a big shield. But they can put on other people.
No, they're both good.
Well,
Yeah,
they are. I mean, War Magic gets the fucking bonus of saving throws. That's really good. But
listen, Arcane Deflection's pretty. Cool.
Arcane Deflection is good.
It's just a +4 to saving throws or +2 to AC.
That's pretty good.
And you can use it all the time. It limits. You can't use a spell, but you can still use cantrips. Like that is. And okay, Ben. As a wizard, getting your int to initiative, being able to move before everyone in throwdown CC is crazy.
That is good.
Initiative bonuses to spellcasters are one of the best things they ever want, because if they position before, let's say, like the enemy, because there's so many encounters in D&D where enemies are like around a fire or something or in a position, they're like, oh my god, they're there! If you move before them and you catch that pack of orcs in 9 orcs like Blake did with the burning hands, you just wipe an encounter. That is so fucking good. War Magic, it doesn't do what you think it's going to do at first. You should think of it like a tactics wizard.
Well,
and
I think my problem with it is that it's kind of advertised as like, oh, it's like they're like kind of like they're kind of like evocation, abjuration put together, but it's basically they're just a different flavor of abjuration. But I don't like it as much as abjuration. Yes. I think making the shield is cooler.
Yes,
exactly. It's just personally me, but I mean, don't. You're still a fucking wizard. It doesn't matter. You're
still fucking awesome.
Now, Order of Scribes, I like. I like Order of Scribes.
Oh god, I forgot about War Magic is so cool. Whenever you're concentrating, you just at level 10. Whenever you're concentrating, you just have a +2 to AC and saving throws. That's so fucking. Fucking crazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck? War Magic is
Wait, that stacks with Arcane Deflection too?
Yes.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. See, this is what I meant.
Oh,
I remember reading this
like
once and going, "This fucks."
Wait. Oh my god, you need like a +6 to fucking saving.
And at level 14, when you Arcane Deflect, up to 3 creatures within 60 feet of you take force equal to half your level.
Nah, that's
listen,
okay.
adds up. 7 free damage every turn.
Okay, I guess they're like, I guess we'll throw an evocation thing in here, I guess.
21 total free damage each turn, because it's 3 targets. Listen, just saying, adds up.
Whatever, it's a high level, but I don't care.
I know, but features that are just passives, I always go, think about it.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I don't spend a key point for it.
Any other wizard subclasses we want to go on?
Order of Scribes.
Order of Scribes is cool.
I love Order of Scribes so much. I love that you can have a fucking awakened spellbook that floats around and you can cast spells from its position. And
cool.
And you can swap the damage type of spells as long as you have another spell that does that mentions that damage type.
I'm gonna hit you with a fireball that does.
I'm about to hit you with the ice ball, the lightning ball.
I love the flavor of that so much.
And also, you can fucking copy down spells in like literally, I think, half the time, which is insane.
No, I
love
love
copy down spells so fast.
I love the flavor of this class so fucking much.
Oh yeah, and their spellbook is their spellcasting focus too. It's like, oh, it's so fucking good.
Such good.
Order of Scribes is so fucking based. I love them. I think that, they kind of are getting a little. I think you're kind of running out of ideas for Wizard because, I mean,
subclasses
honestly,
are hard for Wizard. I'll give it to them.
Yeah, kinda.
Hard to come up with reasons to have them. Sorcerer too easy. Bloodlines. Wizards harder.
Yeah, because
wizards are already the spell.
They're supposed to focus on usually a school of magic,
and they did all of them.
Yeah, but here's the thing: how do you feel about Order of Scribes? Remember, I do believe Order of Scribes used to be I'm sorry,
the broken piece of shit version.
Yeah, the Archivist Artificer.
Yeah, the broken piece of
the one that was broken as hell.
Yeah.
Instead of fixing it, they just said fuck it.
Yeah, correct decision.
Yeah, probably.
It was an Archivist, and it was also kind of like Lore Master, which is a broken piece of shit UA they tried to release.
Oh, remember the wizard that could use like words and shit? The
Yeah.
word guy
Yeah,
who encroached completely on Bard's power.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Because remember, Bards are just wizards. Don't at me. They are.
Yeah, there are some really questionable UAs.
Oh yeah,
it's a funny
yeah.
topic, but I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah, we've covered a lot. I mean, we kind of skipped a couple things, but it doesn't really matter.
I mean, yeah, we
I mean, let's all just say it. Wizard's broken. It's the
Wizard's
best.
broken.
It's literally the best class in the game.
Yeah, and
So, I guess. So 5e's been out for what, like 8 years?
5 years, right? Five or 6 years.
Bullshit.
5 or 6.
2014?
I'll give you the release date. 1 sec.
Played that shit in college, so it was. Oh wait, no, in high school. So that was at least.
Base. It was released in 2014 officially.
Oof.
Really?
Yeah, 7 years.
I guess we did play next. So
Yeah, we played next. Yeah, so 7 years.
Right. So 7 years, and they only made one class extra. Is that kind of cringe?
Yes.
Or do you
Yes.
think their base offerings were?
Everyone did this meme where they said there were too many splat books in previous editions. And to all those people, I say, shut the fuck up. Stop it. Let them make it and just say no to the cringe shit. Let them make shit. I don't care.
No. Hold on. I'm going to tell you right now that I agree that they should make more shit, but I'm telling you, they're just not doing it because 1, they're lazy, and 2, they make more money if they make less books. I know.
It just pisses me off.
Yeah, I mean, Artificer is a good class, and it makes me go, wow, I guess they know how to make a class now. But I don't think well, 1, they announced 5.5, and there's not another class coming out before then. And there's not going to be a new class in 5.5.
I don't have high hopes.
Let's be honest. In 5th edition, what class can they really make? Like
Warlord.
Like what Warlord? Okay, what does that do that a fighter doesn't?
Warlord's the best class ever invented. Warlord's cool. They are a
yeah, it sounds like a fighter.
Class. No, they are it's a tactics man who uses
it sounds like a battle master.
Reorient the battle. Nope, you're retarded. Read 4th edition. Warlords are one of the coolest classes ever made, and by Wizards of the Coast, they should have brought them back. They were a great class. They were a support class that was able to be frontline. It was all about tactical control and moving people on the battlefield, making them do different attacks and like extra attacks actions. It's very cool. It deserves at least a subclass, if not a retooling as a full class in 5th edition.
You know what class was based in 4th edition?
What?
Warden. That class
Warden was cool.
They should bring back Warden. I liked Warden.
I don't know if they could flavor it enough to be a full class here, but they should bring it as a subclass. Wardens are like
I feel like there's not really a defender class, you know?
Fighter.
Yeah, they're okay.
I mean, yeah,
fighter, Cavalier. Yeah, literally, I know it's weird that Cavalier is the tank fighter, but it's just true.
Liam, Cavalier is just how they did tanking in 4th edition with the marked shit. They gave it to Cavalier.
It's not the mounted one?
Well, here's this thing. Here's this thing. They gave it the features to work for the mounted shit, and then they just gave it normal features because they knew a mounted class is actually never going to actually work because people are assholes and don't let you bring horses into dungeons. So they just gave it normal features, and they made it the defender method of doing mark target, disadvantage against people who aren't you.
All right.
It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I just
want like a cool nature dude who's
Warden was awesome
in full armor plate.
Okay, but
Warden was great.
Stuff.
Can I just say, I really feel like the subclass system kind of knocks out any more classes, really, because like you can't make Artificer a subclass of anything else, right? That's like
they tried to with Wizard, dude.
Oh, they
did. You forget? For like
a second, didn't they?
Yeah, it was awful.
Well, I mean, the problem would just be Artificer is interesting enough to just have its own.
Yeah,
class.
It
should
be its own class, but like
Warlord is interesting enough to have its own class.
No, it's a fighter subclass. 100%.
Nah, you're dumb. Nah, you're dumb.
It's called Okay, Noah, let me tell you something. WotC doesn't care what it actually does. They care what it says. They care what it says when the new guy reads it and goes,
Tactician.
Huh? There's a class called Warlord, but what's a fighter?
All right, I already said the word tactician. There you go. Done.
Tactician? So a battle master.
No.
What about a
Ben-
psionics class?
Yes, Psionic. They butchered Mystic.
We already have 3 of them, guys.
Shut up. I hate 5th edition. Mystic was unbalanced, but it was cool. Balanced Mystic. They're retarded. They
Mystic
shelved
was
it.
so unbalanced.
Yeah, but it was so
Holy
cool.
shit.
Because Psionics are super cool. Should have been class. They just got lazy on their own.
You know what I think? I think they should roll psionics into monk.
No, you.
I think they should.
You. Sorcerer is the correct answer. They should roll it into
No,
sorcerer.
they should roll it into. But like,
no,
shouldn't
monk
like,
should not be psionic. That is a different flavor completely.
but
Fuck you.
No. But listen, hear me out. Shouldn't monks like be like perfect? Like, oh, I've mastered my body and my soul.
Yeah, but
my
that's not what
mind.
psionics are. Monks shouldn't be able to pick up a rock 30 feet away because they punched in a mountain hard enough. Psionics
Pretty base though.
Okay.
Well, they got key powers.
Yeah, that's like anime Asian wushu shit, not psionic. Psionic is a very specific flavor.
Yeah,
for
that's
things.
you're gonna have to miss me
Mental
with that.
mind power.
I've never liked psionics.
I know you're dumb. I know.
I think psionics are just like. I mean,
I know.
I like the
you are
subclasses
just,
actually.
I know.
Except for
you
the
are
fighter
just,
one. I think the
I
fighter
know
one's
you
kinda
are
weird.
just like coming at this from like an angle of like unintelligence, and I recognize this as a
just
living
don't really-
psionic.
I just don't really get the whole point of
I mean, you
psionics.
understand that the problem is Ben just has a bad take, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, how does psionics really fit? I've just never really got it. You know.
Because they're cool. They use their mind. I think they fit as much as
Okay.
a fucking monk. I think they fit as much.
I mean,
as the
okay,
monk.
that's fair.
Yeah, like right, like come on.
But hey, I didn't. If I had my choice, I'd kick monk out of the game. I think. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like monk. I like kung fu shit, but hey, it's not working. It's really not working. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a medieval fighter. Like, why are monks in my medieval fantasy? God, I hate people like that. Like, yeah, as if any of you play in a fucking medieval accurate setting. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I don't know. Psionics are so okay. I don't know. It's just like, yeah, you can do it with your mind, but it's like, yeah, but can't you just like reflavor that as a wizard too? Like, pretty hard.
I could reflavor any spellcaster as another spellcaster. I think this is a terrible argument.
No, but I don't know. I don't know. There's
I know
so
you
many.
don't. I'll let you work on it. Your grug cave.
The spell variety though just like lends itself to that. There's so many spells that just force movement and shit.
Yeah, but they're learning those and casting them from a book. When Scion is like an innate power. Like I said, Scion could fit as like a sorcerer's thing, maybe. That's what Aberrant Mind is.
Yeah, Aberrant Mind is. I mean, Aberrant Mind is a fucking great subclass.
Yeah, it's cool. I really like Mystic's design because it was super modular and cool. And I wish they had tried to make it better.
I think that it deserved its death. I do think it's really cringe that they didn't even really try to balance it. They just kind of just said fuck it after the first try, and I'm like, what?
They
the
made
fuck?
such an interesting chassis to work with, and then they said fuck it because they're dumb.
Well, yeah, I mean, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean,
They don't
unironically
really need any. I mean, really, does 5th edition need a new class?
I wouldn't mind. I'd like to see someone try.
I just don't really.
I really
see
like.
anything
I really
else.
like the tactician. The warden is a cool idea. It could be a druid subclass, but I like it.
True.
I do like warden.
They should really
Warden's-
try a melee druid. I know spores can kind of do it, but they should really try like a more.
Spores is a melee druid, yeah, 100%. But they should go for warden. Give them metal armor and shit. Let them try.
Oh no, you can never do that.
Okay.
Well, you
and
can't.
I would say, I guess the only other one I think of is like,
I think shaman would be a good one.
yeah, that's what warden kind of is, Ben.
God, don't call it that. Call it a shaman.
Well, they had shaman also. It was split. But yeah, like I think warden and shaman.
Okay,
could be
so
the same thing.
shaman's easy. All you do is it's a spontaneous divine caster.
Yeah,
That's it. It's just a sorcerer, but for divine spells. Oh wait, you guys made divine soul. You raped it. You already raped it.
gunslinger.
No, God, no. Ugh. Oh God, I'm gonna fucking vomit. Stop.
I love guns, bros.
Yeah, well,
Guns are cool.
in Eberron where they fit.
Yeah. Go back to your cave.
Do you guys not like Eberron? Fuck you.
I
love
like Eberron.
Well,
I want to play
you.
in Eberron.
Fuck off. I don't want guns in Forgotten Realms. Sorry.
That's fair. I don't want guns in Forgotten Realms either.
I don't want guns there.
want that
I just
either.
don't. If I go to Eberron and I see a robot, I don't freak out because I'm like, yes, Warforged have lore. There's a reason they're here. Thank you.
All right. I can't
don't
think
know.
of another immediate class besides Huntsman, obviously.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I thought I was serious for a second because he's
I don't know,
processing
dude. You
his
like
Eberron dreams.
you like Pathfinder where there's fucking
I like Pathfinder
Oh,
for my
Hunter.
single player game. Hunter's based-
Ranger,
so-
Slayer.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Pathfinder stopped caring and just made fun character classes.
Bro.
Listen, man. Pathfinder. I've never
it swings both ways. There's going too far as well.
Yeah, but it's really fun for single player games or build
Now
theories.
listen, Noah. If they were like, well, Hunter is like the non-magical ranger, right? But the ranger is actually the magical one. But then there's like, but there's also Slayer, and I'm like, what? What do you mean? There's also Slayer?
Slayer's like Thief Fighter. Well, I don't want to talk about fucking Pathfinder right
then
now.
multi-class. Hello.
That's Liam. Ben doesn't understand the hybrid classes of Pathfinder. SMH.
Liam doesn't know
Pathfinder's
anything
cringe. I
about-
don't blame him.
Let's fucking go! Pathfinder is cringe. You're just right.
I agreeing with Liam on something. SMH, bro. I know I just appealed to him.
Well, neither of these systems are good because you don't get a castle as a fighter.
That's true.
Based. Pathfinder's
It's
bad because
second
it's
edition.
hard. I agree.
I-
Let's go back to bound accuracy.
Honestly, do your bound accuracy, but we gotta. I mean, we should probably
No.
wrap this up at one
No,
point.
let's
but-
wrap it up. I'm done. Bound accuracy is here. I'll say
Well,
it real quick. Bound accuracy is
okay.
bad because it forced the entire system to remain in a stat block that will never evolve and lets no variance. Monsters will never have very clever designs because they always have the same amount of hits. They will only start slowly do more damage over time. Characters can never reach certain AC increments, so there's only so many specific areas where people can increase things, and they can never expect to run into very difficult, strangely hard challenges without very specific monster types and ways to solve them. Because bound accuracy limits everything to an area of where you can only expect people to get up to a +5 from their stat and whatever their expertise is. And they just thought it was too complicated to give scaling attack bonuses because they tried to look at a chart of how it's done in multi-classing in older editions, and the intern at WotC got a headache and he just said, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
math is hard.
I agree. I 100% agree. They're just cowards.
We live in an
but
era where everyone is computers.
before we end it,
can
I
have
do think-
complicated numbers.
I want to say something.
Yeah.
People need to understand. WotC did not fucking play test this game at anything above 13th level.
Hell
Don't
no.
at me. High level play is not supported in 5th edition, and I think it's cringe.
It's very bad.
I think that they should have tons of shit where they go, yes, okay. When your character is that level, you're a big shot, unironically. When you're level 10, you're a big shot. When you're level 15, you're like a legendary fucking example of your class.
Yeah. They did
You are
very-
insanely powerful.
They did very poor scaling in 5th edition.
it's
Peasants with crossbows will always be useful for killing a dragon, because bound accuracy is a meme.
I mean, you're just right. But the thing is, I really feel like, guys, shouldn't by now, 7 years in, maybe you should have like a high level, like make a book about it. I know like in the DMG there's high level boons you get like if you for some reason. I mean, I guess there could be some fun to play. I mean, obviously you want to play at 20 level ideally, right? But
yeah.
and you go like, oh, you get some boons like induce. You can. I mean, the boons are really fucking boring. Just homebrew your own cool ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, you made the capstone shit very cool.
They just don't. They just expect no one to get there, and like modern day developers of games
But,
don't put any effort into it.
the whole
It's
arc of
sad.
it is supposed to be you're supposed to get to like this really cool shit.
Yeah.
That's the shit that I don't know. I've looked back at the older editions, especially like 3.5 and shit, where it's like get to those levels and like you're going on you're fighting crazy ass shit. You're not fighting just like one dragon. You're fighting like mind flayers on a fucking spaceship and shit. Like you're doing insane shit, and there's nothing that supports that anymore. And I think that's cringe as fuck.
It's so lame.
And I know why they don't do it, because they didn't fucking playtest their game. The game fucking probably falls apart at those high levels.
Yeah. It's really depressing.
It's
you realize that.
depressing as fuck. Because I think
Because it's all about the fact that they expect no one to actually.
you will
play that
only
long.
ever go on middling adventures. Like you'll only, I mean, don't get me wrong, you'll do some cool shit. Like, I mean, some of the modules I think are pretty cool. Like defeating who's the main guy in Tomb of Annihilation? You fight some fucking big guy.
Ah, shit! What's
fight
his
some
name?
big. I mean, that's some big shot shit. But like,
I can't remember. Fuck.
But like, guys, don't you want to like get to the part where you like? I mean, once you hit level 20, I think you're as strong as a god, basically. Hitting a level 20 is like a god level character. And I'm gonna be real, I think they should do like an add-on where they maybe like increase the level a little bit. Maybe go into epic levels for 5th edition.
Yeah.
I think some epic level, because and I know people are gonna say like, oh, no one makes the 20th level anyway. Well, that's probably true, but like maybe you could like begin a game there, because now people be incentivized because you can go forward and not just because there's 3 pages in the back of the DMG that say, hey, if you're playing at 20th level, here's some things you can do. Your ranger can do a DA6 every round.
Oh,
hey,
fuck.
pretty cool. Also,
this would be crazy.
Capstone should have been based on subclass for everybody, not just Paladin, and they should have been better.
Yep. And like the capstone to 5th edition classes, this episode's ending is pretty disappointing.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. I would like to say I still like 5th edition. I love how simple it is. I don't care what anyone says. I still think it's the strength of the system.
No, it is.
Can we talk real quick about level 1 to 3?
Yeah, we should.
We mentioned it, and we didn't really do it.
We did one side of the coin. Let's do the other. We did it.
Yeah.
Please, level 1 to 3 is it's such a waste of time. Yeah. You should just start at level 3 or be done with it in like the first hour.
Critical Role new. Critical Role new.
How do you justify?
You have 6 HP as a fucking wizard. You have 10. On average for most fucking characters.
Barbarian Elf 12, but that's about it.
Half your characters will not make sense because they don't have access to their subclasses, and character-wise it won't make sense.
It is just nonsensical. Yeah, and then backstory-wise, you're right. It's just like, I'm just like some weak motherfucker. I can't like be anything cool. I can't have like, I don't know, been in like an army and been like a fighter for years. I'll die to one orc if I try and solo him, and I'm unlucky.
Off the farm, going out for adventure. No, letting you start later lets you have a better variety for character backstories. It lets you work in your subclass and make sure you don't have to explain why you're not an Eldritch Knight for 3 levels. It lets you just have it right away, you know? It's just so weird.
I mean, it's really weird for us, right? Like, we should talk about our own experiences. I mean, besides Blake, his character, he's played Sorcerer, he gets a subclass at level 1. Because the Sorcerer didn't get that, that'd be really fucking weird.
Can I describe our game we're playing?
The DM.
All right, so we're running Dragons of Icespire Peak, which, if you guys don't know, is kind of like the module they released as like their like get introduced to D&D starter set. Like they made literally starter set that came with the module and like dice and shit and all the shit you need. It was their literal just like here, come play D&D for the first time module. Yes, that's the essentials kit.
It's the second starter one. The first one was Lost.
It even includes fucking rules for like sidekicks, so you can play with just one player if you're like a weirdo.
Yeah,
I love sidekicks.
It's really funny. So you'd think this book would be really like designed for new players, but it's like not at all. The beginning is awful. I had to change it because it literally was just nonsense. Theirs is, you're in the town, you're in like a tavern, there's like some jobs at the quest board. You start at the quest board. That's it. Here's 3 quests to do.
That's so fucking funny.
And it's just like, and the quests are bullshit.
You just spawn in your WoW character and go take the first quest.
And just to, the 3 quests are, there's
Wasn't
a
even
woman,
funny.
she doesn't know there's a dragon about, go tell her, maybe bring her back to town. And another one is there's 2 dwarves mining, go tell them about the dragon.
Mana core encounter's fucking terrifying at level 1.
Yeah, and then the third one, go to the gnomes, see if they have any dragon killing magic technology that they don't. All these encounters literally will fucking kill you at level 1 if you do them.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get to the first one you want to do is obviously like the old lady who's out alone in the middle of fucking nowhere who doesn't know about a dragon. That's like an urgent one. You'd feel like that's the ones your players would go to.
That's the one we did first.
And the one my players did first. And both times we played this because we stopped like 2-3 years ago, whenever the fuck we did it the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, or a year ago was the start of the One Piece game. Anyway, and they make you fight a fucking mana core.
Yeah.
Yes.
That thing's CR like 2.
Yeah.
It has a spike attack that does like 2d6. You just die at level 1. So I'm looking at this shit. I'm just like, what the fuck, wizards? They'll just die. What, you want them to talk to the mana core? Yeah, I mean, it says like, oh, you can like give them food and it'll go away. I guess. But like, would you guys do that? Would you trust it?
No.
It's just so stupid.
Also, what if you're playing a character that doesn't like mana cores?
Yeah, what if you're playing, a Monster Hunter character like someone who in this game is
Smile.
Mr. Noah. It's just, I'm just like, you'll just die if you try and fight this thing. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. You're coming and you're like transporting goods to the town. You'll fight some wolves. You get attacked by a dragon because I rolled a d20 to determine where the dragon was. Haha.
That is.
Which is part of the module. It's very funny.
Apparently, we roll pretty dragony pretty often.
I know, it's really funny. So I'm just like, fuck it. They'll hit level 2 when they get to town. So they'll like at least not get one shot by any attack roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you should do. That's just smart.
Yeah,
But it's just like,
up.
they didn't think of this. Why didn't they think of this?
I mean, I get
If
that
you
they
go to the
want it to be
gnomes,
dangerous,
the
but-
fucking mimic will fucking kill your ass.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what
100%.
damage a mimic does?
Like,
Yeah.
and like, we like demolished those orcs, but I could easily see them fucking people up. Like, they got some good hits in on Noah.
Yeah, they make you fight 1 orc per player plus 1, I think.
Yeah.
That's like 4 or 5 orcs.
Yeah.
They do D12s.
Yeah, that can go bad if
That
they
can
roll
go bad
well.
literally once.
Yeah.
If you're level 1, you lose.
It's
Imagine if
fucked
you're
up.
rolling your health too.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's insane.
it's
Oh yeah.
It's very poorly balanced.
yeah, it really is. And then you throw in crits into the mix where it's just like, well, you die here.
Yeah, exactly. Encounters can go south incredibly quickly.
I mean, yeah,
Some
and it's,
poggy 20s.
especially like if you're I mean, luckily our group has like lots of healing. Like 3 of us can heal.
Oh, we just down good berries whenever the fuck out of combat.
Well, that's our out of combat healing and in combat if we're desperate enough.
Yeah.
But it's like I can't imagine if you just like didn't have like a cleric or a fucking sorcerer who can heal, or fucking like, I mean, I guess ranger could. No, if you're level 1, a ranger can't fucking cast any spells. So yeah, you're just fucked. Like you're just fucked.
Yeah.
And I guess you could have, artificer can heal. You can toss a heal out every now and then.
Yeah.
It's just, I just can't imagine, man. It's just so stupid. What are they fucking thinking? I mean, I think their modules are pretty poorly balanced across the board, generally.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think, I was gonna say Dragon Heist is decent.
Okay, can you please not start reviewing every module as well?
Yeah. Oh,
Whoa, calm
Oh,
down.
wow.
I was just gonna say,
Just
give another
preempting
example
him.
here. I was gonna give you another. Thank you for reining me in, Blake. I was gonna give an example where, like, yeah, your characters can be like level 3, and then they can go fight like a zombie beholder, and that's not fun. and it's not like
Very
they get.
cool.
It's not like they get warned. Like, okay, guys, you're gonna sneak in here. There's gonna be like a zombie.
It's gonna be like a
You
guy
need,
you
you
don't
need to
want to
not
fight.
fucking get caught by the
Don't,
zombie beholder.
don't fight. Yeah,
Don't
he's like,
fight it.
Yeah,
No,
he's
they
like,
they
you
just
know,
wander, and if they
he's
turn
like
a corner,
Tubba don't get caught.
if
you
they
know.
if they turn a corner and they say they're not sneaking, they just get caught and they have to fight a zombie beholder who doesn't die unless someone can hit him with radiant damage.
Pretty foggers.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome.
It really just seems like, from what I've seen of the modules that fucking WotC's made themselves, that they don't know what the fuck they're doing at the start or even further on.
No, yeah, it's really just like whatever. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? I don't know.
I think they can kind of get it like around like 5 to like 10.
No,
even to, like,
that's what I said
11.
at the start of
Yeah,
the
yeah, like,
leveling curve.
It's just, oh god, it really is just bounded accuracy fucks everything.
Yes.
It just
God,
fucks
it's
everything.
so dumb. Fuck, I hate
Just
that.
fucks everything, man. What can you do?
Yeah. So, you know,
Alright.
these are some disjointed thoughts about 5th edition.
Oh yeah, disjointed as fuck, but guess what?
Guess what? Got a lot to
I-
say. Probably could still say more, but
The Critical Role fans are gonna come pouring in, dude.
oh man, I guess it's just good to say that 5th edition's a very complicated system.
You're having fun though.
Yeah, the overall the takeaway is it doesn't show its cracks until you really strain it. And if you are really just down to have some fun, you can very quickly see why it caught on. Because it's very easy to get into and is successful at being able to explain itself most of the time, which makes it very easy for people to get along with it. It's the biggest hurdle for a TRPG or TTRPG is being hard to actually understand, teach systems and stuff. And if at the end of the day it has deeper issues because of it, sometimes you're just gonna go, okay, I'll deal with those issues because I like what it gives me. Yeah.
Look, bro.
Just
Sometimes
don't play RWBY in 5th edition. Come on.
Please
don't. Look,
Don't
sometimes you just
play
want
it
to play
in
Sword and Sorcery with the boys, and it's fun.
It's fun. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. But check out other systems; they might be better.
Yes, but please, God, if you and your friends want to, if you and your friends fought in a parking lot with Keyblades, please make your own system or go get another system that facilitates fighting with like Keyblades or something or anime shit. Please. Look, the best you can do in 5th edition is like you can kind of do some kung fu shit if you're flavoring a monk.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
I think that's about it, honestly.
All right,
Crawford.
Yeah.
we ready to wrap up?
Yeah, I think Crawford will see me today flying over his house, about to throw a spirit bomb on it. I never actually heard him, but
All right.
I will say, yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot more we could talk about, like, you know, the horrendous art in the fucking books that they use.
Oh,
We
actually,
could just go off
hold on,
WotC's just general
hold on.
behavior.
I think we should do a podcast unironically on the art in 5th edition. I unironically think that would be funny as fuck.
Yeah, I think so.
The art is
maybe
so
say
bad.
that, yeah, it's
think
pretty
so.
bad.
Yeah,
art
yeah.
is so bad.
I have no experience with it, so if we do that, like Noah can like set it up so I'm first exposed to it for the first time, looking at it, so I can give my honest first reactions to things like that.
That'd be fun.
I think that'd be really funny, especially the PHB art. Holy shit!
It's really
but other than that, I think we're done here for now. So if you like this podcast and what we're doing, we also take suggestions for any ideas you have that you want us to talk about within regards to tabletop stuff. But other than that, please watch the rest of our podcast episodes if you have not. We've done episodes on all of the RWBY Grimm campaign, as we were very, very fond of RWBY and all its peripheries and whatever the fuck. That wasn't a word. But I'm very tired, and we love RWBY, and please check out the Records of Remnant, our RWBY tabletop game, and the New Dawn Pirates, our One Piece D&D game. The rest of this podcast will be coming out hopefully weekly, if not, sometime around that. Records of Remnant still happening. I know we're having like breaks, but we're working on it. And other than that, I guess we'll see you next time. Say goodbye, everyone.
Yeah. Goodbye. And if you guys got any topics you think maybe you'd like us to discuss, maybe throw them out there. Tabletop related, RWBY related. Fuck it.
Didn't I just
Find
say
our
that?
Roll20 page.
If you have a show,
join Liam's game.
Find Liam's secret. Find Liam's secret Roll20s up there with an account. We won't tell you the name. Find his secret game.
Yeah, because unlike Liam, I don't psychopathically record with like full images and like names. Jesus, Barbarian. Other than that, we'll see you next time.
Grab yourself a seat and keep those hands in the vehicle at all times. You're about to be taken on a ride through the untamed wilds of internet role-playing. Observe them in their natural habitat.
So you head out.
You know that would be funny. I didn't know there'd be consequences.
Enjoy the splendor of their spurgery.
Felix, who is the lion fauna,
And feast your eyes upon the questionable creations of internet randoms.
Actually, I've never DM'd before.
This is the Supernova Safari.